de DS en de Game Boy en de PS2 spel waren letterlijk hetzelfde verhaal op 2 verschillende consoles.
And we are live. Welcome everyone to the top 100 video game list that we're making right now. As you can tell, I have got Microsoft Excel at the ready. Yeah, what else would you use?
I know, right?
I do, right? Like, yeah, it's just, you think I know how to make lists? You think I'm professional? Fuck no. Microsoft Excel, there you go. Perfect. Alright. So, before we begin, let's lay down some ground rules, right? Because, just making a lawless top 100 list, I mean, it's not a very serious list. Objectivity doesn't exist. Fuck objectivity. Throw it out of the fucking window, kick it in the nuts. It doesn't matter here.
Yes.
It's literally just a shits and giggles favorite list. Because let's be honest here. Can you, objectively say whether Dark Souls is better or...
let's say Final Fantasy V.
Yeah, or Kirby Superstar Ultra. You can, because they're completely different games. You play for completely different reasons. This is literally just, let's say you're stranded on an island and you have to play 100 games. What do you do first? You know what I mean? That kind of feeling.
Yes.
I was thinking as well that there might be some games that are very similar, but are equally as good. Or maybe they're of the same franchise and are equally as good. I think you can link some of them together. Like Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2 are almost about as good. They're practically the same. So you can link them together, I would think. Right?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got. The only other rule I have is that you don't have to beat the game, just play it. You only have to have played it. You don't need to, if you you really like the game but you haven't beat it, that's fine. You can still put it on the list, I think. Is that fair?
Fair enough. Some of the games I really picked was more of a bit, I guess, to an extent, either bringing attention to it or to tell a fun little story about it. So some of them are not even that serious, right? Yeah. Like you said.
Yeah, it's not a very serious list. We're just doing this for the shits and giggles at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So with that said, I'm gonna begin first with number 1, because we're going from best to worst.
We're going from best to worst. Yep. That's horrible, but go on.
Now think about it like this. If we were to go from worst to best, can you accurately guess what the number 100th game is? It's easier to go from the best and then think, well, what's the second game I want to play then? And then, you can go down the list. It's way easier than going up.
Mm-hmm.
So, if for the theatrics, right, I have another video planned that's just going to be pre-recorded instead, no stream. So, that'll be fine. So, I'm going to start with, I've said this before, so it's pretty obvious, but it's
check there.
Right, it's not copy and paste anymore. It is Sekiro. It's easy, what can I say? Sekiro to me is just, it's already a fantastic game in general, but Sekiro is just the
game. Excel, don't do that.
Boy, I already fucked around with it once. I know exactly what I'm doing, kinda. It's just, this is kind of annoying, but I can fuck with it already. But Sekiro to me is just a fantastic game all around. Just there's no other game that really feels like it. Just the right amount of challenge, and the flow of the combat feels really fucking good as well. With the swords kind of clanging as well as they fucking clash with each other. The exploration is also really good. The soundtrack is great. It still looks very good. I would describe this game as a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Hold on.
No, it's understandable.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I just generally think it's a fantastic game. I don't think any other game has made me felt so alive. Alright. Ennis, I'm interested. What would you say? Obviously, your favorite will always change, but when you think about what you had the most memories with, or maybe you just have the most fun with just playing. Well, what was your favorite game?
If I have to think about the game I had the most fun with, funny enough, I would put Dark Souls 1 in there, actually.
I was actually very much expecting you to say Dark Souls 1, funny enough.
It's the fact of the matter that I replay this game as many times as I do. I look into stuff as...
Should I do it remastered?
Yeah, just remastered. Doesn't really matter. In this case.
Yeah.
Anything goes. It was my first... No, Neo was my first introduction to it. The Dark Souls 1 has
Neo's a different
It,
stuff, to be honest.
it is absolutely different. But what Dark Souls 1 does for me is just the pure, somehow the highest replayability of all of them. And with the great map, it's like a form of a Metroidvania in some extent. The added research I do, oh my god, the research I did after hearing you play New Game Plus and all that. So I really do love this game and like to replay it a lot.
For anyone who asked, the Excel sheet is just a fucking stretch because it's just how it is. So I can't really do much about it. I'm just gonna put it like this, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Dark Souls 1. I don't know because I'll never know exactly what's gonna be on the list 100%. But Dark Souls 1 is a game that is difficult for me to really enjoy, but I see what makes it great. And I can understand it's also just a very adventurous game. Like, even if you were to not fully enjoy it, you can at least look back at the experience and think, wow, that was, it was really an experience. You'll never have such a grand adventure because of how many things can happen or how many different ways you can play the game. And that does make it a very good game.
Yes.
So with the second one, I was kind of struggling a little bit. But I'm thinking about it, and I think I might just choose Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Go on.
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is just that perfect action game. It's blood pumping, it feels high action, it's very over the top, you can cut anything, it still looks very good. The soundtrack is one of the best, and it works perfectly with the boss fights. And when I think about games, what I like the most is always the boss fights, and I think Metal Gear Rising just has the most entertaining boss fights that, perfectly combine cinematics with actual gameplay. To the point where, even if the story is a little bit silly, I just can't help but love it. And I do kind of enjoy the story, even if it's silly. I kind of get it to an extent as well. And it really is just something where I just have, whenever I think about a game that really makes me think about a lot of things, it's Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, because it's just that over the top. From the voice acting is really good too. I just think it's an amazing game.
Yes. I can see it. I can understand it too. It's like it really did bring out a lot of memes for a good reason too. But as one of the really great examples, music is still fucking fantastic, like even to this day. And it has a very solid gameplay plan and everything.
Yeah.
For me, I do feel that it's certainly a product of its time when it comes to its graphics, but how everything looks gray.
That's fair. That's fair. It could use more color.
I don't blame the game for this. I blame the time period it came out in.
Yeah. So, Ennis, your second pick. You can take your time thinking. It's fine.
Witcher 3.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a fair one. Yeah. I haven't played it
I've
myself.
played that one, but
you always talk about how much you love this game too. So it's not unexpected.
Funny enough, I managed to beat at least the main story twice, and I would at some point come back to it to try and beat the DLC expansion, which was free, by the way. Could you fucking believe that?
My God, free DLC expansion?
A whole new map, like almost as big as one of the 3 maps you explore, right? And it's free.
What the fuck?
100%. Yes. But what makes The Witcher? It's like it was the Witcher series as a whole, the years old games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were basically my introduction to the Witcher franchise, which I would want to read the books at some point. But what makes it so great was that the entire map, it felt like it was a grim story, grim dark story, right? Fucked up stuff happening here and there. But The Witcher 3 gave hope. In a sense, there was always still this sliver of hope that the game could bring to people. With the added fact that the characters are all likable, every single one of them. There's this, there is still this bar between Garrett's love interest, which is the best girl, and if you choose both, you get the Persona 5 treatment.
God damn.
It's a really good adventure as well. It's nice, big, the music as well. It's like it literally is where you could, and I'm gonna put that on the list. for some music you can play in the background later. But The Witcher 3 has some great music to play as well, and none of them is like environmental either.
Right.
Like it really is like you can listen to this while you drive in the car or something like that. Just to give you an example, walking the dog. That's how good it is.
They're eating the dogs. Anyway.
Yes, we are killing dogs as well in The Witcher.
My next pick, I would say, would probably be the most questionable one for some people that don't know, but also just in general. But like, I'm gonna pick for my third game. I'm gonna pick Mega Dimension Neptunia Victory 2. I know, crazy. The Neptunia fan picks the Neptunia game in the top 10 list. That's crazy. But as far as RPGs goes, there are a lot with like maybe more richer stories which are important in RPGs. That's fair. There's definitely RPGs that look better. I suppose so. Yes, fair. But I just love Mega Dimension Victory 2. I think it's the best Neptunia game. I think the gameplay is still solid. Like it's not, super. It's not super in depth, but it's still fun enough. And I just love I think the characters are written at their best here. I think the story. It's a perfect mix between serious story and comedy. I love the soundtrack in it as well. And, again, the graphics are not like 10 out of 10, but like I still think they fit the overall like feeling of the game. The anime style, art style, I still think looks very nice. Mainly because of the concept art, the character art, the main artist, I guess, is the best way I can put it. I just think this one, I can just replay this multiple times and be fine with it. I remember when I was recording this for the commentary. Oftentimes I get kind of tired of recording long RPGs. I played this game twice with two separate versions, and both of them are 60 hours in length because I did the post game for both of them. Did I need to do the post game for both of them? No, but I did it anyway because I like the game. Objectively speaking, I'd say this game is about like an 8 out of 10, but in my heart, it's a 10 out of 10.
And you said you played, but which one of the versions do you prefer, though?
See, that's the difficult one. I would say if you were to play the game first, I think you should always do the original first, because I do think the gameplay's fast-paced is easy to get into. But I think if you like somewhat slower gameplay, and you like more menu-based gameplay, and you like the looting system, Victory 2R will also be just fine. But I do think Victory 2 was better for a beginner. I think both of them have their strengths and weaknesses, and that's kind of the problem. I've said this many times. Yeah.
For one of the things I could add, and there is that for me, after with the fact that I played Mega Dimension 3 Victory 1.
Yeah.
I felt that honestly the gameplay of the original one feels better.
Yes.
Than the newer one. I just don't really. It tries to give you a lot of options with specifically the combat I'm speaking of here, right?
Yeah.
The Victory R gives you this combat that tries to gives you the feeling of expensive and doing all these kind of combo chains, but it feels not right really. All these weapons that all just look the same and stuff, and it doesn't really feel rewarding compared to what potentially Victory 2 original would do.
Yeah, that's also why I say Victory 2 Original, I think overall, is better to get into. Victory 2 R does its own things that I think are pretty interesting, and it does some things better, but I think Victory 2 Original has more of an edge to it. It also has New Game Plus, which I think some people would much prefer as well, and it has all of the DLC characters as well. So I do think you should get Victory 2. If anyone ever is interested, just get Victory 2 Original. The remake, you can, if you are really interested, you really like the original, try remake as well. But original, I think, is a better choice if I were to choose one of the two. Well, what's your number 3?
World of Final Fantasy.
That's an interesting one. I didn't.
I don't know if anybody talks about this game enough, honestly.
Wow.
But I think the Final Fantasy really, as a Final Fantasy fan, really is great. But it is not exactly your traditional Final Fantasy game, right?
Yes.
In that sense, because it's funny as hell in some aspects. But what it does, right? It gives you this nice mix of like a somewhat serious story, but also really really great characters, which are two really. But the story feels great, the characters feel great, the combat is just fantastic, and it's in a way also a love letter to just Final Fantasy as a whole, you know. Though the gameplay may, like I said, the gameplay is different. After all, you know, you have the twins are somewhat special as they can either go in their chibi form or fight in their normal size form, right? And then either if they are in their normal size form, they can have monsters riding on top of them, with a monster riding on top of that one. Oh. And you also have the other way around, where if you go to the chibi form, you have the monster, you have the character riding the monster with the monster on top of the other one.
I've never played the game before. It's on. Oh, hello, Jesse. Turns out I didn't die. Wow, that's crazy. I had to ride the bike for 7 hours straight. No West Ham, another city and hotel. Hotel's pretty shit. That sucks for the hotel, but you know, at least you're fine. Hope you're having a good day. We're just like ranking games. If you want to like rank your games too, you can do that in the comment section when the live stream is over. It'll be more convenient. Anyway, my number 4. Is it my turn, or did you mention anything? It's my turn, right? Can I just end this later?
Yes, you can do.
My number 4 pick is Devil May Cry 5, actually. I guess that isn't too surprising, you know. Because it's a similar game to Metal Gear Rising with Vengeance, you know? It's the same story kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's over the top. Action is really good, soundtrack is really good. The game looks great. I'm not really too bothered by the environments being samey at some point, because I think that's most of the franchise, to be honest. In fact, like in, you know, the older games, you would mostly backtrack as well, or like at least revisit areas. So, you know, it's not something that bothers me too much. Now, the only competition with this would be Devil May Cry 3, right? So, the reason why I picked this one over that is, well, I do think Devil May Cry 3 has better cutscenes. I think Devil May Cry 5 just has like all those modern touches that I feel I'm kind of missed when I play 3. When I play 5, you know, I am in control of the camera. Everything feels really smooth. The control is really good. There's so much. There's plenty of content with all the different characters you can play as well. And all the characters are pretty fun in their own way as well. My first place is Undertale. That's a fair one too. I think the story is also pretty good too, and I kind of, you know, you can't help but love the characters, right? And because the story is all about those characters, it's just very entertaining to watch and see. Yeah, a great character.
I have no comment with Devil May Cry 5. No comment.
Well, you know, if you like 3, you'll probably like 5 too.
Probably.
So, and it's your number 4 pick.
You know, I'm still looking at this.
It's okay. You can take your time.
I think if I ever have to talk about something that left me a really great impression, like something that
good luck, Bell.
Where with how I stuck with it, going with Ace Attorney: Trials and Tribulations.
Ah, I have no knowledge of Ace. I have barely no knowledge of Ace Attorney, so.
You only did like 1 chapter, and that was a tutorial chapter.
And Trials of Tribulations, is that it's a collection?
It's the 3rd game. It is in the collection if you have it.
I think this is fine, right?
Yeah, this is fine.
Oh, hey, why don't you tell a little bit about it?
When it comes down to it, this game is probably the one that somehow captured my attention the hardest between the 3 games, to the point where I was so attentive that I could solve every because it's a puzzle game to an extent, right? I could solve every problem without looking up, to the point where I knew the answer of the final question, but because the game had just a slight, literally this 2-letter different in dialogue, right, in how it was typed, that I thought I got the wrong answer and had to look it up to be done. I got the right answer. Otherwise,
did I just forget how to fucking type? Am I stupid? What the fuck?
Apparently you did.
Yeah, apparently I did. There you go.
And the story itself was really captivating. Had some good mystery. It had to an extent also a tragic story to it for one of the characters. It was a great quest, to put it like that. But the craziest bit: have you ever seen a lawyer defend himself?
No. Usually he gets another lawyer. Double lawyer.
For Ace getting coffee mug into his face. Just so you know that coffee mug is warm.
You might want to think about your fifth one immediately, because my fifth one is unfair. It's definitely quite to be. I mean, what can I say? Like I said, the only reason I picked 5 over 3 is because of the more overall modern feeling of the game, and because it's like because of that the control feels smoother and that kind of thing. But Devil May Cry 3 has better cutscenes, and I do think the game is overall still absolutely fantastic and still has a fun story. So yeah, the answer was simple. Soundtrack is still fantastic. It still looks pretty. I think it looks pretty cool. Again, the cutscenes are really good.
You see, what this game wins over Metal Gear Rising is that it wasn't bound by its by gray colors.
No, it's brown instead.
Joking. It had a lot more colors going around. That was also great with the PS2 games, to put it like this. Not the Devil May Cry itself.
Yeah, PS2 games are still fantastic. Where did OBS go?
Why did fucking the PS3 era decide?
We were trying too hard to be realistic, I guess.
Because, yeah. Which is weird, because why would realism mean that everything is grey and brown?
Yeah, you say that, right? The world has actually gone grayer and browner because of all the grey and brown designs we've been making over time. So we're building a bunch of grey and brown buildings, and literally the world has become grayer and browner, like actually, worldwide, globally, because of us. We did it. It's our fault. I think the best part is that we've now made so many screens with super accurate colors or bright colors. We're not using any of those colors. Anyway, your fifth game.
Armored Core 6.
I knew it was gonna be on the list. It might be on my. It actually might be on my list. And I'm pretty not that. It's probably pretty close to the. It's pretty high up on my list too. I think actually.
I think a lot of Armored Core games are gonna be high up on my list.
I can imagine. That's exact. Yeah, it's. I can imagine.
Together with potentially Dark Souls and Dark Souls-like.
I'm expecting Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring somewhere around here as well.
Yes. But the reason why I would put Armored Core 6 a lot higher than Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3 in this sense is mainly because of what it felt like for me. As I started getting into Armored Core, right? I marathoned almost all games except and got up to 5, Armored Core 5, right? Yeah. Which I couldn't play for the time being. And Armored Core 6 was this moment of everybody being just hyped up for finally after 10 years, which is 10? Yeah, 10 years, because roughly the last Armored Core game was on the PS3. Late PS3.
Yeah. And
when this game came out, I feel like it delivered in many aspects. It's like the gameplay felt so smooth, so fast, such an upgrade. You could use all weapons at once. The mobility was amazing. The customizability was still there, and it was unlike the game, which it kind of you can compare it to similar to like Armored Core 4 and maybe Armored Core 5 and the other games. You had more weapons to use. Every weapon found its use. Unlike the old games where you could just stick to 2 weapons and be safe for the rest of the game. Besides the soundtrack being the lowest point for me, but otherwise it was a great story too. Great adventure. In that sense. Now your turn.
Man, you know what? It's difficult because I'm a big RPG fan. But then I thought about the list. I thought about 20 entries. I was realizing that a bunch of RPGs I really love. I would actually normally put a bit lower because as much as I have fun memories with them, I stopped to think about it. I would often more so play other games because they're shorter and easier to get into. But I'm gonna pick one RPG that I care a lot about as well. It's not necessarily, again, it's like Victory 2, where it's not necessarily the best RPG, but I just love it. So I'm gonna put in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Ah.
Yeah, it was on my list too. Do you combine them or do you want to put them in separate areas? The sequel.
I combine them, but I do prefer Cyber Sleuth, the first one. But I do combine them because I think even the game developers just combine them at this point. Let's be fair here. Even the game developers said, yeah, they're you know. Still, I feel like they're really part of the whole package, and I like Hacker's Memory for its gameplay and its Digimon list. Like it also kind of upped the Digimon list on Cyber Sleuth as well. I think Hacker's Memory has more funny times here and there, but I think Cyber Sleuth, from beginning to end, is just the pacing is perfect. And no, the pacing perfect, I don't know, but the pacing is good. I think the first half is great for like getting you into it, like slowly, you know, kind of like getting to know the characters, basically doing your odd jobs, and then the second half is like about saving the world, basically. And I just think the story is interesting. I think the soundtrack is pretty good. It's not like super amazing, but it's pretty good. The graphics are good, though I don't want to see Kowloon ever again. God fucking damn it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
God fucking, I hate Kowloon. But I generally, as a Digimon game, it's really good. I do think Lost Evolution has the better battle system, but I think this game is really good for like getting people into it, because the gameplay is simplified enough to the point where you can make this easily your entryway Digimon game. And it has a lot of content as well, especially with Hacker's Memory on top of it. And it's not expensive at all. It's not expensive. For like a pretty low price, you get a really long RPG that's really fun. And when it comes to grinding as well, I think it's great too, because you can grind a lot and the game will be easy, but it won't be, brain dead. And you cannot grind for a lot of the game. The game would be fucking hard, but it's still possible. So I think it's a good game. It's generally deserves to be on, and I'm a big Digimon fan. As a Digimon fan, this is basically my holy grail.
Yeah, yes. And it's your only holy grail because it's the only game you got. After how many years?
God fucking damn it! Yeah. So, and it's your number 6.
Code Vein.
You see, it's actually really high up my list too. So. Oh yeah.
And it's the reason why I would like, after with how much of a Dark Souls that I may be, the reason why I would put Code Vein higher than the others is I feel like the story is the game is somewhat similar to Dark Souls 1 with its map, where it gives you the ability to warp around a lot more often, but the map is still nice, gives you these shortcuts, gives you a lot of exploring, though it is not as connected as Dark Souls 1. The story, the adventure feels at least as quick, as high paced. Right.
The level design is also still pretty good within the stages themselves. Exactly.
But one of the best things about, besides like having the freedom with your character, is the story of it. You really did. Yeah, again, you feel like a part of the world. You feel like the part of the adventure and all that. Not per se part of it, but you feel more involved. Whereas with the other Dark Souls games, like with Dark Souls 1, 2, you just walked into the ruined world and now are just surviving. Well, in Code Vein, you are part of that ruined world.
You're like the random side character in an RPG that just happens to get the main character role because you're there.
Exactly. Yes.
For number 7, right? I was really thinking about it. Code Vein is also somewhere like around here, I would say as well. But I really wanna diversify my genres as well, and I would pick. There's a lot of platformers on this list. When I thought about it, there's a lot of platformers on there because when I think about it, I love platformers. I like them a lot, and my favorite 2D platformer is actually Super Mario World. Finally, we get a retro game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Devil May Cry 3 is a retro game, fair enough, but yeah, Super Mario World is just, it has no story, but who cares? It's at a time where that wasn't necessary, and for platformers, you just really, it's just super fucking fun. I just feel like the whole level design and the control is perfect, and the level design is just too solid to just, like, wave away. Hold on a minute. Yeah, it is just such a fantastic game. I cannot ignore it. It's short and sweet. It has many secret exits and, many different...
game in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so many things you can do with this game as well. There's so many. The game also just looks very pleasing to my eyes. I'm nostalgic for it. To be fair, to be fair. But it is like it's a launch title, you know? It's fucking crazy. Like it was specifically made just to show what the Super Nintendo could do, and holy shit, the Super Nintendo can do a lot. Oh man, yeah, I love Super Mario World. It really is a just overall fantastic game.
It is peak. It is one of the peak points of Mario.
Yeah, yeah. There's another Mario game on the list very soon as well, but we'll get to that because Ennis is number 7.
Yes, and I won't be diversifying my thing yet, order yet. We're gonna go with Stranger of Paradise.
Ah, yeah, that's a good game. I'm not sure if it's on my list, but I think it might be.
The fun thing is with Stranger of Paradise, it's like everybody had such a memeist expectations of this game, and you know there's still some to some extent there is, right?
But this ended up being a good game instead as well.
But it is just somehow the story, I guess, with some people saying kind of what do you call it, short or half baked. But I think it's more of a product of the quick action games type of thing of the old days, right? Where you don't focus too much in it. It's nice, simple, and it feels so great. When you see finally, no, wait a second, this game isn't a piece of, is it just shit? It's great. It has amazing combat, great customizability. It's a fucking grind fest because Team Ninja only knows how to make those types of game, but.
And the co-op is also very good.
Oh, the co-op is amazing.
As long as you put it on hard mode. Don't put it on normal mode.
Well, yeah, at some point you have to play in hard mode because of how it is all tied to grinding in the end.
So, yeah, really
which is the saddest part.
So, you know, I have had some choices here and there, and I had to really think about, like, well, what, like, at some point some games are just as good. So you kind of think about, well, what would I care most about? Like, if I'm looking up videos or something, like, what do I care about? You know, what would immediately catch my attention? You know what I mean? So I thought about it, and, you know, I think, hey, you know what? Yeah, I would probably say Sonic Generations. I like Sonic. Sonic Generations is one celebration of Sonic. There you go.
And it's probably the other one of the best Sonic games made.
I just love
in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I just love I actually really like the boost mechanic, and I think Generations has just done it the best overall. It's a niche, I guess, right? Like, you know, that's the biggest reason why I like boost mechanics. It's the only game that kind of does it really well. So I like the game. What more do you want from me? The game also looks still really good, and you know, the classic Sonic is still good. Like, it's still fun. It's not as good as the boost Sonic, but still fun. You know, soundtrack is gonna be great because it has so many different songs from Sonic. You know, Sonic, you know, the song's already been. And when I think about my favorite Sonic game, it must be Sonic Generations. But don't worry, a certain other Sonic game is on the list too. But yeah, I thought, you know, this game, yeah. Right. Number 8 is
going for Sonic's weird older brother, who is his partner in crime, Yakuza 0.
I knew it. I knew it. You know, it's funny because, you know, I was making the top, you know, I was thinking of all the games that I know for certain was gonna be on the list. Yakuza 0 was one of them for you.
I have very limited amount of like Yakuza games under my belt, but I have all of them waiting in my Steam library to be played at some point.
Yeah, but pick
next one being Yakuza 3. But the reason for why I went with Yakuza 0, obviously, it's my first introduction to the Yakuza game series. As you know, everybody said play 0, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel that the story here was just amazing for both Goro and Kiryu, with some more nice twists and turns, some things like the joke of Kiryu never killing somebody, you know. Never forget that car chase scene. It's just in every game, by the way. And you know, it's for one side it has those goofiness with the side quest, the map itself, the the mini games you can do. Just imagine fucking Kiri or Goro singing "Ora, I love you."
Yeah,
It,
Yakuza 0. I had some issues with the core gameplay, but I do think the game has so many great things to it as well. But I've only played 2 games, right? And if I compare it to Kiwami, this game feels a lot more complete. And I guess that also makes sense because Kiwami is a remake of a PlayStation 2 game, and they
which
used
they thought would not succeed.
and they also it's funny because it's very faithful to the original, but it also uses a lot of assets from Yakuza 0. So it's also €20 for a reason. Like, it released €20 for a reason. Yakuza 0 just feels like a more complete game. It's also very long.
Yes.
I'll never fucking forget the Kabara Club nightmare.
I didn't mind the club so as much, though.
Have you
At some point, it was
completed it,
skateboard.
though?
No, that's true.
But wait until you complete it, then you understand. The song will be permanently burnt into your skull.
What was it again? I know what you're talking about. It's probably when you give makeup to girls, right? That's what it is.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. There's plenty of choices I have, right, for my favorite games, but I thought about it and I should probably then pick because my favorite third-person platform would technically be Sonic Generation, so I'm thinking, well, how about my favorite first-person shooter? But then I thought, hey, wait a minute, I have a favorite fighting game instead. So I'm gonna do Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. which could be replaced with Sparking Zero when it comes out, fair enough,
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to fighting games, I used to play them a lot more when I was a kid, because I had friends I could pretend to fight against, because I'm just too good. No one else but me plays games, so I barely have anyone to play fighting games with. So for me, a lot of fighting games are single player, and well, I never really played the actual traditional fighting games that are like in the style of Street Fighter. I played Tekken instead. So when it comes to Dragon Ball Z games, that kind of revitalizes my like for fighting games, because there's a lot of single player content in them. And well, the Tenkaichi games are more Dragon Ball Z simulators than fighting games. I can't help but love them. Like, the speed is just right. The control feels good. The amount of characters and stages are crazy, right? Could they do things better? I mean, certainly the art style could be more anime-like. They could definitely have more expressive faces. But that's what Sparking Zero is for, so who fucking gives a shit? I can replace that game for this game at some point. It's fine.
I think it's worth mentioning real quick. Tekken 8, the new DLC came out, and guess who's back?
Oh, fuck,
Heihachi. Heihachi is back from the burning volcano.
Yeah, no, he always comes back. I can't believe this fucker.
Oh, it was insane.
Oh,
I knew it was going to happen. I said it too. Now, it's not going to be Tekken. I'll tell you that much, but
I wouldn't be surprised if we put Smash Brothers here.
No. No, I could probably put it there because I have good memories with Smash. But I would put Pokemon Black 2 in there.
I knew
Black and White 2.
I'm pretty certain I have that on the list too at some point. Yeah, I mean, how am I gonna put this in here? I'm just gonna do this, I guess.
Just take the first thing you find. It doesn't matter if it's Pokemon Black or White. It's the same thing anyway.
Anti-racism, let's go. I silenced everyone with that one sentence.
Yes, you know what tip I'll give you, right? Pick the column from the up from K and E where you put the text.
I mean F and K.
Yeah, and then press into it. Press the thing button again. The how you put it in the middle, the text.
What button?
You know how you try to put center the text to the middle, right?
Oh, you mean?
Press those buttons again, yeah. So now all of the columns are going to do that.
Yep, that makes life easier. Did I change up the music? I should probably do that, please.
Yeah.
Alright. And explain Black and White, Black 2.
It really is peak Pokemon when it comes down to that. I'd probably go with Pokemon Platinum, but there are, after playing Black and White 2, you realize, no, this is just, compared to my childhood, this game is just so much better. It has a lot more content in the sense of the Pokemon tournament, the trains. You have this whole map to explore with all of these Pokemons to find, and the adventure just feels so solid as well as to what you're going through. That's actually mostly it when it comes down to it.
It is really just peak Pokemon, and Pokemon is very fun, like the gameplay.
It even has this whole different city and this battle tower thing going on as well. Now, it's not exactly the battle tower from the older games, but you can also like get really stupid on how you unlock it, but you can also get a higher difficulty mode.
Okay, so now I'm gonna include my favorite first-person shooter.
All right.
So, I'm gonna link it too. So, it is Halo 2. Now, I'm gonna link it to the rest of the series, because, like, besides 4 and 5, they're all pretty good. They're all good. Like, all of them, to me, like, they're first-person shooters that are fast-paced and fun, yet not so fast-paced that I would stress out. So it's just a perfect in-between where if I need to relax, I just play Halo. Gonna be honest, if I just need a game to just chill, watch random live streams in the background, I can replay these games anytime, and I think Halo 2 is just the best one of them. I just feel the campaign is the most fun to play. And it's especially fun to follow like two different stories of like two main characters as well that have clashing ideologies, but in the end realize they actually should be working together instead. It is just a really great way. It's just really great, and I think all the other games are also just as fun, which is why I just linked them. The Master Chief Collection exists, so I think that's yeah, that's fine. Generally, I think Halo games are... at least Halo 2 is just one of those games you should at least play once. Even if you don't like first-person shooters, I still think Halo 2 might make you feel otherwise. I don't know. I genuinely loved it, though. I forced Ennis to play it with me, of course. But Halo is also just an important franchise. Like, it is also... When you think of, like, split-screen gaming, a lot of people just think of Halo as well, because of how many people just enjoy playing co-op with that game series. It kind of
really is. Halo is a fun experience to play co-op with.
So
it really was. I had some good times with it with you.
And soundtrack fantastic as well.
Yes, when it plays, obviously.
When it plays. So Ennis, what is your top number 10?
I guess I'll go with the Pokemon Blue Rescue Team. Blue or red, that doesn't matter.
I was actually surprised. I was expecting Time first.
No, it's mainly Blue for me as it begins. It's one of the few reasons as to why it's Blue is the version I played the first time. I often play Red because it's the same game but on the GBA.
Yeah, it's easier to emulate.
It's easier to emulate. It's easier to replay. It's just a really fun game, a good story, an adventure, a fantastic soundtrack. Yeah, I played it so many times. Almost beat my sister up for deleting my save file with a pillow, mind you.
Understandable, to be honest. I would do the same.
Oh lord, that Charizard will never be recovered.
Oh my god.
But it really is. The replayability of it, because it's on the GBA.
It reminds me of when I had a faulty fucking GameCube memory card and my melee progress was completely reset. My Smash Bros.
That's horrible.
Together with the Pokemon Colosseum one as well. I fucking caught the Suicune after trying so many fucking times, and then the fucking save was deleted.
The bastard.
Fucking yeah. Well, what more did you want to say?
No, that's it. That's fine.
The mystery dungeon, I really do. I wish I knew what I was doing when I played the game when I was a child, because it's very difficult when you don't actually know what the fuck you're doing. But when you know what you're doing, it's just a lot of fun. Like, it's a bit RNG to get all your party members, I guess, like all the right Pokemon friends that you might want. But it's just a lot of fun, and you gotta love some of the the art style for it as well. Like when there is like art styles for it or concept art for it. It's really nice. Soundtrack, of course, the soundtrack is just absolutely fantastic. Very, it's just really good. The soundtrack is amazing. I need to switch. Speaking of soundtrack, the song is over. Alright, so I guess my number 11. It's an interesting one. I keep getting fucking Discord messages. Please leave me alone. Hold on, let me look through the list for a bit. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I need to cook. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, I got one. Yeah, I got it. Okay, no. I have to put this one on the list, because, I mean, have you seen my channel this last year? Hitman, of course, and, I do mean the World of Assassination trilogy, but I can just say the franchise as a whole. There's a reason I put 200 hours into fucking Hitman 2 all alone, then another 80 hours in Hitman 3. It's just so fun. It's just so replayable. There's so many things you can do with these games. There's so much to it. And I do think the original games have their own qualities that the remakes don't really have as much. But this is such a fantastic series of games that, I don't know, I just loved it. All the different mechanics you can do. The graphics look really fucking good in World of Assassination as well. Kinda wish there was a bit more of a soundtrack to World of the remakes, but man, the story is also pretty interesting in the reboots too, I find. Yeah, I just really, really love the Hitman games. There's endless amounts of content to it as well. It's just, oh yeah, it's just peak, It's just really fucking good.
It was a good time when we went through the stream with the amount of hijinks and fun. That was just the old games, funny enough, too. And we're not even talking about the newer ones.
No, we're doing them at some point, but, we had a lot of things to do. Abolition is gonna be interesting, because I don't know anything about it, but it's the most controversial game. I'm very interested in that one. But yeah, I just love Hitman. Like, when you play it for the first time, you make a bunch of dumb mistakes, and a lot of stupid shit will happen because you don't know any better. But it's all about just learning about the map and just trying to figure things out. And the more you play it, the more you, like, when you finally figure it out, you replay the map, it becomes easy and fun most of the time. I will not forget that fucking sniper mission in Hitman, what was it, 2? Fuck that mission. But yeah, I love Hitman. It was super fun. Linus, number 11.
Yeah, I guess I'll be putting 3 games at once in there, but I'll go with Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just pick the cover from 6 or just Battle Network and choose whatever. Really.
Which you said 3 games, so like what is on par with 6?
For me, it's purely obviously I prefer 6 for its combat, but 3 and 5 are the other 2 that I really like to play as well. Replay from the 6 games that were made. With 6 being, like I said, the best one. 5 having also very solid gameplay added to it. And 3, even if the gameplay is not on par, specifically because of that stupid traveling
it's the
that goes on.
Traveling that really bothers me.
Yeah. It still had some a good time, good story. So all with story, would say 3 is probably my favorite one.
I do think
it also has the longest one, but I just like they're so replayable and so much fun. Probably because they're also Game Boy Advance, so emulation is so easy.
Battle Network is just
even though I bought them on the Steam port.
Similar to Sonic Generations, you won't find another game that has the same type of gameplay,
Yes, exactly.
Actually, there's this new indie game as well coming out, a card game. I'm interested in that one. this game, yeah, it's just super unique, super original. There's so many different things you can do in it. There's also many ways you can break the game, but to be fair, you also need to know those things first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of experimentation and a lot of things you can do. Like, there's also when the like, you know, the re-release, the remaster version came out on Steam, you know, online battling is also a thing. And, you know, it's not gonna be super popular, the online battling. There's a niche audience for it, and it's pretty funny what they can do sometimes. Good set of games. Imagine playing Battle like Fork.
Imagine.
Imagine. I find it hard to think about because there's so many different reasons why I would put it on the list. Yes, why did I not put this one on the list? This should have been on the list. Actually, I would have probably put this higher, to be honest. Now I've got to, maybe should put this higher. Actually, I'm stupid. I forgot about this. Kingdom Hearts 2. Of course I like Kingdom Hearts 2. I constantly think about the fucking game. How did I forget about it? Of course, I'm specifically also mean the final mix version, but you know, it's well, for work side. Kingdom Hearts 2 is just to me a perfect combination between action and RPG. So it is a perfect action RPG. You know, I really feel like the RPG elements are not like just tacked on, and it's the action that matters more, or the action is also tacked on. And the gameplay just like the gameplay feels stiff, but you know you're gonna win for RPG elements instead. Oh fuck! How am I gonna do this? I cannot.
What do you want to do?
I just wanna like place this higher. Can I do that? Not what I meant.
Yeah, it's pictures anyway. For the pictures, you just place hit the other one somewhere else, and then you can shove it up.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'll do that. Because I would put Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh fuck.
Oh, this makes it painful. You know what you do? Voeg in een cel.
How do I do that again?
Go to one of the rows where you want to put it. Like row, you want to put it in the fifth place, right?
Yeah.
Or something. Go with your mouse to number 5 up, and then to 5 on the side.
Yeah.
Then press right button, and then you should have invoegen. Do okay. Let's see what happens. Otherwise, we can just go backwards. Oh, we can't because you did something.
Well,
well, you know, just maybe you understand if you just put it.
I have another strat. I can do this. Hold on, give me a minute. I think this might work actually. What the fuck just happened? Oh.
They went over it.
No. This. I mean.
Yeah, you saved it. 5 is still there, and then everything moved down. So you just change the numbers a bit, and you're done.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you change that one to 5, and just do 6, if you just select 4, 5, and 6 together, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just pull down, and it will fix itself.
Oh fuck.
Oh, you don't know the trick?
I know the trick because I did it, but I forgot about it because I'm stupid. Hold on. I do know the trick. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
And now it should just follow.
Oh no. Go back. And then.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but this is still. Oh no, this. Yeah, no, it worked. Okay, we're good. Okay, yeah, I fixed it. Oh no, what do you mean I fixed it? I didn't do shit, Ennis fixed it.
Of course, I got not for nothing the certificate for Office 360.
Yeah, like I'm only using it casually sometimes, right? And recently.
Don't worry, I cannot code in this. Don't worry about it, or make formulas or change.
Kingdom Hearts 2, I think again, perfect blend between RPG and action. The story is crazy, but still I can still follow it relatively, and I find it interesting enough. The soundtrack is fantastic. I love Kingdom Hearts' soundtrack in general. Like Shiko Nomura. God damn it! How can I keep forget Yoko Shimomura? There you go. Yoko Shimomura. Still one of my favorite composers. That just every theme just hits hard. Like it's very the music can be very emotional or like very whimsical depending on the situation. The combat is just perfect, right? Like it's just like especially if you like do it level 1, it can be pretty challenging as well. But there's so many ways you can play through this game too. There's so many strategies you can have for different boss fights. The boss fights are especially excellent. The game still looks pretty good for its time. There's something nostalgic about the graphic style of Kingdom Hearts 2, because that's what most of the game used until Kingdom Hearts 3. The only problems really is just the beginning part's a bit slow, and that's actually kind of it. I love everything else about it, even if it's a bit silly sometimes. I just genuinely think Kingdom Hearts 2 is a fantastic game. It's the most complete of the Kingdom Hearts games too, I feel. No like jankiness of Kingdom Hearts 1. No like we playing through the same world 3 times, so I didn't mind it too much in Birth by Sleep. Dreamful Distance is just okay. Kingdom Hearts 3 is almost as good, but like again, doesn't feel complete. So Kingdom Hearts 2 really just wins to me. Yeah. That was my number 5. This is number 12 now. It goes like that sometimes. Well, Ennis, what's your number?
Alright. Or for my 12th game, Excel sheets. No, I'm joking.
I can't tell.
I guess it has to happen at some point. Elden Ring.
There we go. Finally, he said the thing. Well then, let's go ahead, King.
Elden Ring is less about the anticipation for the game coming out for me, but more about like the what it has delivered is what made it great. The combat feels like probably the best in this game. Like the characters controls better. You have the jumping from Sekiro added in there for some extra layers. Customizability and almost for some of the weapons, boss weapons being crazy strong. Though it does at some point become like special skill spam go. It has that greatness to it. The story feels to an extent somewhat involved with, specifically once the DLC comes out, you really are like an important piece to that story in a sense, which is great for a FromSoft game. It's like Sekiro in that sense. Finally, I'm part of the story.
Finally.
How long did it take? Fucking 100 hours, and then I'm part of the story.
God dang.
It's just the biggest problem. I have said this more often than not. I do feel like the open worldness of this game is nothing special, right? Everybody tried to praise it, but it's just a big empty map. Sure, you can find some new weapon here and there, right? But it's like it's not that special or interesting, really. You could just do the same with Breath of the Wild.
Wow, crazy.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Man, I have to think about it. Give me a minute. I have to think about it for a little bit, because there's a lot of games I can choose. But I think I might know. I have an idea of what I might pick, actually. It's gonna be probably... Oh no, fuck, I forgot. Yeah, that game. Of course I should put that game in here too. Actually, it's gonna be another RPG. It's gonna be Persona 5. Despite, yeah, I really think about it, but if I think of my favorite turn-based RPG, like, Persona 5 just feels good to play. Pacing just feels great. I can keep playing it despite how long it is. It never really tires me out. And the story is interesting. It's not as good as Persona 4 story, but it's still good. I still enjoy it quite a bit. I should have picked up the PlayStation 4 version, whatever. I really like Persona 5. It's also has some similar systems to like fucking Pokeball and shit. Well, I mean, it actually technically the franchise came first, so I don't know. I think it's the other way around. But yeah, I think the feeling of it is good. I really like the mix between the other world and the real world, right? The social aspect of it is also just adds another layer to the game, where the pacing is good because you can kind of go between all the social aspects and then the gameplay aspects and shit like that. Of course, if you're playing for your first time, you're not gonna meta game it too much. So it's really fun to replay the game and see all the different things you can do. Or you can meta game instead, like me, because I'm an asshole. There's a lot of things you can just experiment with the game too. The only problem I had with Persona 5, now that I replay it, is that it feels a bit easy. Luckily, there's a difficulty mode. I don't know if it's gonna be much better, but it's there. Yeah. Well,
The only way to make it more difficult is by being weak to every element.
oh no. Also, the game still looks good, and I mean, the soundtrack speaks for itself. It's fucking fantastic. I need to switch. Speaking of soundtrack, I need to switch songs again. What is your number 13, Ennis?
Let's see, where was it? Dark Souls 3. You know, I just have to put it back to back.
You know, I'm gonna be just as guilty in a second.
Yeah, you know, you play the music as well, so it's foreshadowed.
It's already foreshadowed here.
Dark Souls 3, I will put somewhat under Dark Souls in this, Elden Ring in this case. Is mainly what it misses obviously was the map part of the game, right? Where it's a lot more like linear, just go from boss fight to boss fight.
Yeah.
And having the warp already unlocked. Though the combat is probably an improvement, it's obviously an improvement from like Dark Souls 1 and 2. It's just, you know, in a way, it's still very much the same. The story is very interesting as well, and a nice finishing touch to the Dark Souls lore in general, with really Dark Souls 1 and 2, 3 being the most connected with each other. 2 just exists somewhere. But it's just, you know, I think Elden Ring just adding more to its gameplay, and in many sense, it is why it just gets better than Dark Souls 3.
I understand.
So it wasn't Persona 4, or are you still looking for something else?
Right, it's just Persona 4. I was thinking about what else, but like, yeah, it's just gonna be Persona 4. Yeah, you know, I said this like, I love Persona 5, right? But I also really like Persona 4. I think with Persona 4, really, the only reason I can't put it higher than 5 is because I just think 5 has added so many gameplay aspects to it, and there's just so many things you can do more in Persona 5 that you cannot really do in Persona 4. But Persona 4 story is so fucking good. Persona 4 soundtrack is so fucking good. All the characters are just likable and interesting. Well, most of the characters, but you know, like, there's always, when it comes to social links, there's always gonna be that one character you don't care as much about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's your first time playing and you don't get the full social link yet because you don't know what you're doing. But it's just the feeling of Persona 4 too. Just the feeling of moving into, like, it's the opposite of Persona 5 where you move into the city. You move into just middle of nowhere village, really. Like, it's just a countryside, you know? And the game really reflects off that feel. And this makes it, like, it feels perfect as well. It just feels perfect. It feels good. The story is just super interesting. It's about facing yourself and shit, like, and finding out the truth. While most people would rather look away from the truth or be entertained instead. It's a very interesting story, I think. Though I do find it funny how with Golden, it's just like the final boss changes. There's like 3 final bosses in the game.
Yeah, we don't know who the final boss is, really.
Actually, that wasn't the real final boss. This is the real final boss. No, actually, this is the real... But it's still very... It's so good. I always say, if you like Persona 5, you'll love Persona 4 as well. And the only problem I have with Persona 4, and the only reason I can't put it higher than 5, generally because I don't care much for the dungeon crawling. I think Persona 5 has way better dungeon designs because it's handcrafted. And... you know, again, Persona 5 just added a bunch of gameplay elements to it, which some of it made the game a bit too easy, that's fair. But, you know, I still like, if I always had to choose, I always like having more elements to play around with, because it makes the game more dynamic, I think. But Persona 4 Golden is still a really good game. Yeah. Well, and it's...
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That's a good pick.
For Castlevania Symphony of the Night, there's maybe a game I haven't replayed as often as I would like to sometimes. I think it's probably still one of the best, one of the best Metroidvanias I have played. With Funny enough, it is also why I like Dark Souls with all the different options, weapons, items that you can do. It is great. The story feels interesting, and it has its goofy things going on, but the soundtrack being solid. And for a PS5 game, it looks just
A PlayStation
amazing.
5 game? God damn!
PlayStation? Did I say 5?
Yeah.
I meant PlayStation 1.
Damn, man, this was on the future.
This game beats the PS5 though. Really,
I
it
mean,
does.
it does. Like, hey, listen, it's one game. That's already one more game than PlayStation 5.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, it's gonna have to be another platformer. I really was thinking about it because there's a lot of things I could put on there. But I'm gonna pick Mario Odyssey, I think. I will one day remember completely how to write Mario Odyssey, the word Odyssey. I totally can do it, trust me. As far as platformers go, Mario Odyssey, like what Mario World does for me in 2D, Mario Odyssey does for me as a collectathon. It's just really, really fun. The story is, it's just a Mario story, right? Though it is pretty funny to just kind of go to the fucking moon and to stop a marriage. But it's also, but I kind of just like the world traveling of the team as well, like going to all these different countries and like, it's not really like a big cultural thing you're gonna experience, but like seeing all these different characters kind of like doing their thing and you're just collecting stars here and there as well. I think the game looks very, really nice. I think it looks really nice to the eyes. The soundtrack is really good as well. And the control, the level design, all of it is just really solid. And then when you're done with the game, the post-game comes in and says, oh, you want a challenge? Okay, it kicks you in the nuts. Great game, 10 out of 10. That's number 15.
I'll be putting two games together in this case, but it will be Armored Core 3 and Silent Line.
What?
Mainly because there are two parts of a whole, to put it like that. As they do come out back to back, and after Armored Core Silent Line, we finally get to play with analog stick. But the reason why I would put this game in here is because it is in a way Armored Core 3 and Silent Line.
Yeah.
It starts off with this obviously new timeline, new world stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But what improvements it brings to Armored Core in terms of storytelling is there's so much more. You get news briefings, you get message logs telling you about what's going on. You're still uncovering a mystery about the world. But we're talking about 3 in this case.
Yeah.
The controls still feel a bit more solid, even though you're still stuck with the D-pad. And then kind of line continues with like once you've done with the first mystery, you then go into the next part, which is maybe a few years later, but it's just this another mystery of why can't we head to this area, what's going on there, and both games having a touch up in the soundtrack as well, being just amazing, graphics being also a pretty good part, though then again I think it just takes Armored Core 2's graphics and just touches it up a bit.
Alright.
But do you real quickly mind I do have to play, so I have to be away for a minute.
That's okay. I'll carefully look at my list of things I can put in. Because, man, I'm thinking of multiple games. It's very difficult. I had something in mind, but I kind of lost it. And when I look back at the list, I'm like, man, the list would have been a little bit different when I really had more thought about it. Sometimes, it's difficult to really put a good list because you don't always just completely remember here. Those are just too many good games. Too many good games. There's a lot of good games. You know, it's funny. I think I'm actually gonna put a game on there that Ennis has already picked. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance Peak. I haven't played that. I haven't played any Shin Megami Tensei game, so I wouldn't know. But I would assume, you know, I think that's fair. That's a fair opinion. I think I can accept it. This is the list we have made so far. This is my list. This is my friend's list. He's kind of gone for a minute though. The funny thing is, actually, the next game I'm gonna pick is actually pretty simple also. Because I was thinking about it, and I think, yeah, Armored Core 6 I would pick as well. That's my number 16 spot. You gotta love that Microsoft Excel. Vengeance is one of the best JRPGs ever made. Heavy recommend. Definitely on the back of my mind. So, now I'm here alone again. Okay, I have to wait for this guy. Can't believe it. The only thing I can do is kind of think about what game I should put in next. I think I know though. I think I have an idea. This by the way, this number is more so the number of games that I've played. I skipped a few games though that I have played as well because I thought, you know, it's not gonna be in the top 100 anyway. But yeah, I put plenty of games on there. It's like, you know, it's really crazy to think about the fact that I've played over 300 fucking games. Actually, that honestly doesn't feel enough. I think I've definitely played more.
Certainly, you played a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely played more, but you know, I didn't need to put in everything because I know, like, I mean, I gotta put Sonic 06 on the list. I'm just saying.
You.
I mean, actually, if it's me, then it might. But Shadow the Hedgehog, fuck no. Anyway, my pick is Armored Core 6, because, you know, Armored Core 6 is just a good game. It's fast-paced, it feels good. I do think there could have been more weapons. Maybe I'm crazy. But especially for
no, you're not wrong.
Especially for the lag parts. I think there could have been a lot more lag parts for the lag builds. Like, I feel like that was a bit lacking. But the game feels really good to play. And it perfectly balances feeling like a badass mech shooting down weaker enemies while having bosses that will tell you that you ain't shit and kick you in the nuts. Absolutely, like, peak gaming right here. Armored Core 6, I said peak game is number 16. Yeah, ignore me, I'm stupid.
Well, there's certainly peak when it comes to new games. New from the last 4 years.
Oh, definitely, it's super good. Like, yeah, if I were to speak objectively, I would put it a lot higher, I think. But I just, you know, I'm a fan of a lot of games. Armored Core 6 is just really good, though. And it's your number 16 pick. It's gotta be Armored Core 2.
No.
No.
It can be. It probably is Armored Core 4, but not now. Not now.
No.
At the very least. Just thinking.
If you want to, for the record, anyone watching this, if you want to make a top list when the stream is done, we'll do it. Put it in the comments. So I wonder if we're gonna finish the 100 list when we're done with the stream. We might have to do multiple streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know what? With how much of an impression it left on me, though, it's gonna be Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
That's a good one. I've definitely it on my list somewhere too at some point.
It is one of those games where it's either its story gets into my head, it gets stuck in my head at times, or its soundtrack starts playing in my head at some point.
I really need to go back to play the game once more, to be honest.
I recommend New Game Plus purely for the extra new blades you get.
I mean, if
I should do the same.
Now I'm getting, actually, I need to do the Golden Country as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's that whole expansion. And we're not talking about the expansion in this case.
Yeah.
It's just the story. I guess I am a sucker to some extent to the romance after all, with it. But
hey, you know,
it's just such a good story, such a heartstringing story. The characters really do pull me into it and keep me there. with everybody being lovable and the ending being so satisfying with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 just hitting us right in the heart. He literally has 3 wives.
It's like, man, the hypest part of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 also when Rex showed up.
You know what's insane about this, right? Is when we thought that when he said "I love all of you," he was blue balling Nia. No, he wasn't.
No, he was being literal. he meant it. He fucking meant it. Xenoblade.
He really said it's like they say that men cannot love multiples. No, I'll prove you wrong.
I was also very impressed with the graphical aspects of the game and the performance, like just the cutscenes as well. Like it just felt like most of the cutscenes felt really well animated too.
Yes, it felt also it felt also that you never were like in the gameplay. Never was the cutscene like a pre-rendered or something.
No, it just felt really good. The soundtrack is good, and you know the overall the worlds themselves look fucking beautiful too.
Yeah, it's like the biggest weak point I'll always give to it is the gameplay. Solid as it is, it does feel, it feels like it misses something.
I still feel like
I still
feel like the first game's gameplay was not as good as people made it out to be.
I wouldn't know, but I have it, so at some point I'll play it. I'll use Jess's word monstrosity.
It's a very strategic game. The strategy is just fucking using the Monado for literally everything, so that other party members don't fucking die or do damage. That's the fucking game. I'm not gonna lie.
Use Shulk or die.
Anyway, I've got another game that's already named by Ennis, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's Code Vein. That's what can I say. I'm still waiting for a sequel, Bandai.
Yeah, same here. you keep posting anniversaries and artworks and all that type of garbage.
Now, I can understand
Start popping the game.
I can understand why people like Dark Souls 1 more. I do think Dark Souls 1 has way better enemy variety. It has some more creative aspects to it, especially with its like overall world connection and boss. Actually, the boss mechanics in Code Vein are good too. But I just love Code Vein's control. It feels so smooth to play still, and there's so many interesting builds you can make. I love anime, so the anime art style speaks more to me. But I do think Dark Souls' art style is really good. And I don't know, for me, I love the story too, right? I've said this before, but Code Vein is just Dark Souls with anime art style and more story.
And more story.
Yeah, the level design.
Plus, it doesn't feel as miserable.
Yeah, that's also a thing, I guess. I don't mind dark stories as much in video games, so I don't mind as much, but, I just love Code Vein's, like, shit's bad, but hey, you can make it better, you can fix it. And I really like how you get the true ending by actually doing your best, like, exploring the game. And again, the level design is just really good.
And see, when it comes to that, it's like I said it with Witcher 3 as well, and I say it with Berserk to an extent too, right? When it comes to dark stories, because Witcher is also kind of dark. Is that there's the thing that keeps me going in these stories is that there is some sort of hope. There's some sort of like fighting will that the people have that keeps them going, which makes like, yeah, the world is fucked up, but you still have a reason to go on, Yeah,
with Dark Souls 1, if you don't go for the bad ending, you get fucked basically, and it's not as satisfying when you win.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like going for the bad ending, I'll just prefer being a villain at that point. But what's your number 17?
I'm gonna go with Golden Sun.
Interesting. Yeah, you've talked about the game before.
It's a Game Boy Advance game which has a sequel, but let's be real here, that sequel is literally part 2, like more of the story.
From my understanding, like the re-releases of the game just has the two games stitched together because
it makes sense. It has to be.
It's
like
really like Yeast 1 and 2 actually. Like they're practically two, they're stitched together too often.
Or like Xenoblade Chronicles 2's expansion pack, which was supposed to be just some backstory. Yeah, ended up being its whole own game.
It's 40 hours long. It's like Elden Ring DLC actually.
Yes. So what makes Golden Sun for me great is that it has a really good story, very solid turn-based gameplay mechanic. The art style still works for that game. Exploration is rewarded with more power in a way. it's a very solid game, and with part 2 like coming out and expanding on it, increasing your party members, giving you so much variety, it's a really good game. It feels great, it plays great. Though the story don't the music don't tell me about it. Remember the music at all.
Fair. I had a hard time thinking about it because there's plenty of games I want to put on the same board, but it's like, man. And I would take to think about it, but I would probably go with. Hold on a minute. Yeah, before I make a decision, let me look so that I don't like. They go like, oh my god, I would put this game way higher if I saw it 5 seconds ago. I do that a lot. I do it a lot. Yeah. Actually, maybe this one is a bit crazy too. I've got two. Oh man. I can't believe I'm gonna put a bunch of Nintendo games up here now, I guess, apparently. Yeah, you know what? Super Metroid Dread. Or Super Metroid Dread, it's just Metroid Dread, but, you know, I'm gonna link the two games together, actually, to be honest. But, I like Metroid. I love, both Super Metroid and Metroid Dread just do it right, you know? It's the original, it's before Metroidvania became a thing, you know? When it comes to Super Metroid, at least. And Metroid Dread is just like the only reason I picked Metroid Dread over Super Metroid is because, you know, the control is more refined. Because of the you know, the controller is just, well, I mean, depends on the controller you use, I guess, but you know, you have modern controllers that you can use, and you know, the game is made for modern controllers, so
it is honestly, Metroid Dread is probably the game that gave all the Metroid fans hope as well.
It really is.
Like after Metroid Prime, blew balls literally every single time.
You know what? That game's coming out. At least we got footage.
It was
cool.
Dread that finally brought back hope in the fans.
It was the best-selling Metroid game too.
You know, even if I'm not the biggest Metroid player fan, even though I like them, right?
Yeah.
And I still have to play Dread. I was really like, finally a Metroid game.
I really recommend like Dread. Even like, it is just a good game, no matter how you play it. Maybe if I were to criticize it, Dread specifically, I could say I'm not so sure if I'm a fan of the black, like, you know, like the black walls, everything being like black walls. It makes the game feel a bit darker than it needs to be. Then again, it also kind of works with the creepier style, I guess. I don't really have much to complain about Dread though, at all. No, it's just a fucking fantastic game. 10 out of 10. Alright, you're number 18.
I'm gonna go for a game from my childhood in this case. Locke's Quest.
You know, it's always, you know, the nostalgia games are totally fair.
No, it is fair, but also Locke's Quest is this one. It's also a very solid tower defense game that got a port on Steam, which this is not good. Don't bother.
I see.
Which is why I haven't replayed it, because it also plays with your touch, with the touchpad a lot more. Which is I'm not doing that on the PC. Fuck that.
But you have a phone now.
I'm not playing on the phone purely because I don't trust my phone. It's not a gaming phone.
Yeah, you don't
like that.
You probably also prefer stylish, to be fair.
Yeah, what makes Locke's Quest is it's a really tragic story from beginning to an end, with machines being the enemy of humanity because of a robot wars and what have you, and the whole I'm not gonna say much about the main character, just learning more about the past, about himself, about the story, with solid tower defense gameplay, difficult at times as well, very difficult. But the fact is, by the way, it's not just simply put the tower and just defend. No, the man goes in there and fights his enemies along with the towers.
Let me change soundtracks for a bit. But okay, it's my turn?
Yes, you can go on. Go on, Ed.
My turn. Okay, so the next one, like I said, it's gonna be a few Nintendo games, because the next one, again, maybe controversial for it to put it so high, but I'm gonna say Kirby Superstar Ultra.
Righty.
You know, like, again, it's just a very fun game. Like that's just how it comes down to. It's maybe you'd say it's nothing special. Maybe it's a hot part of a bunch of BD games, but not only do I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but it's just it feels good to play, and I just I do have nostalgia for it, fair enough. But you got the multiplayer aspect going for it as well. The true arena is super fucking challenging, and there's still plenty of things. I just love the game. I love how the game looks. The DS version just makes it even more fun, I believe.
I think it's worth saying, the one thing I do like about Superstar Ultra, not Ultra per se, but more Skirby, is there is just such a distinctive art style and characters that you cannot do anything but love.
Yes.
When you just look at the cover, for example, all of those designs too.
The Kirby is
With King DDD being one of my mains in Smash.
Well then, you're number 19.
Neo.
I was wondering when it was gonna show up. Yo, the grind is real.
Yes, like with Strangers of Paradise, the grind is indeed real. The reason why I would put it lower is mainly because of the story being more of a whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to follow.
You just put some historical moments here and there. The only thing that matters is you're a Dutchman just going around fucking around in Japan and winning.
I thought you were British.
No, I thought William was Dutch. At least he took Dutch ships.
His name is literally... Yeah, he took Dutch ships, but his name is literally fucking William. It's an English name.
I guess so.
I don't think the Dutch were using English names at that point in time.
I would think it was pretty similar after all, but...
They're similar, but... Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible, I suppose. But no, he took Dutch ships with him, but he's British.
Yes. But yeah, the blonde samurai just going around kicking ass, showing colonialism, what real colonialism is. No, I'm joking. But the gameplay is just very solid, grindy. And apparently, they also made like a third game, Team Ninja.
Right.
But I do not remember the name or anything. But there's besides Neo 2 and Strangers of Paradise, there's a third game.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Because the gameplay looks exactly like Team Ninja.
Man, it was really hard for me to pick because there's a lot of RPGs I would put there as well, but there's also a lot of games I put in between RPGs. But I am gonna have to pick Chrono Trigger, I think. Like, literally, what can I say about Chrono Trigger? My only problem is, it's too short. I want more. I do think Chrono Trigger could do a bit more with its story. But again, it also goes into me saying, I want more. I just think the game could have gone on for a bit longer, Maybe give us more, like, dialogue with some characters in certain timelines and stuff like that. But, man, like, everything has just its own unique mechanic. Like, a lot of things have their own unique mechanics to them. Like, every enemy has their own things that you can do with them. Every boss fights have their unique mechanics. The game might be a little bit easy, especially if you do know those mechanics as well. It's just pretty easy to tell. But it's just fun. The soundtrack is good. The time traveling it's really a cool way to include time travel into a game. And just learning more of the story in the game as well is pretty fun. Again, my only wish is Chrono Trigger. It's too short, and like how can you the game is good when the only thing you want is more. Yeah. And like literally, the only reason I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 is because it's too short. I want more. What the fuck is Chrono Cross? Fuck that. I know. I want Chrono Trigger. I want more Chrono Trigger. Square Enix will fuck it up if they made it now. They couldn't do it. I don't think they could make this game.
By the way, it's Rise of the Ronin.
Rise of the Ronin. Interesting. I don't think I know that game.
That's besides Wulong. Fallen Dynasty being another game they made.
Yeah.
Was it Wulong the game that also ended up with the body type A and B?
I think so, yeah. Have you seen a whole?
But no, I'm not. Don't put it there. I'm just talking about the game in question that came.
Okay, I thought it was your like number 20 pick. Okay.
No. But I was talking about that's the game they were making, which I didn't know actually.
I didn't know about
noticed.
That one. I thought I know Wulong, but So what's your number 20 pick?
Monster Hunter Rise.
I was wondering when the Monster Hunter was gonna appear on the list. Also, it's interesting because I don't know I don't know anything about Monster Hunter, but like you would have to choose between Vice and World, and I guess you like Vice like the gameplay more.
Yes. Rise. It's not. No, the story is kind of involved, so it's not that important in that case. The gameplay is just a far higher bar for me with the amazing mobility Monster Hunter Rise brings by having been able to slingshot at any point, right? As long as you have, let's say, the resources for it, right? And being able to to have a customizable move set, gameplay being just solid as it goes. It's just a very well made game. It's the only minus point I would ever give this game is the fact that I can tell you were cutting budgets by not giving the female character the feminine idol poses and idol movements.
But Ennis,
I can
but
see what,
gender theory.
and also noticing slowly but surely. I think I noticed it with World, but maybe that's just Monster Hunter's character creator being a problem.
I
But they're
see.
not very good. But I think Monster Hunter character creator was always kind of garbage, even with the old games.
So here's where it went difficult, right? Because it's a hard, tough decision between like Final Fantasy 6, 9, and then Chrono Trigger. But then, if Chrono Trigger is like my favorite like old school RPG, then I think of other games that I also really like in between, like Ratchet and Clank 3 and Crash Bandicoot and Hat in Time, and actually Hat in Time is a new favorite of mine. I've got a bunch of games I can pick here, right? So let me think about it for a little bit. Fuck, there's so much. Give me a second. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I can put plenty of games on there. There's a lot of good ones I have. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. Oh, there's another. I'm getting somewhere at some point. Like, just give me a second. I have to use my big brain. It's not so big as I thought, unfortunately. Because it can't retain as much information as I would think it would. Yeah. So. Yeah. Allow me to have a big think about it. Just big think about it. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna just put Ratchet and Clank 3 on there. Like, yeah. I'm probably gonna kind of link it with the rest of the franchise. I just named 3 my favorite one. Because, a lot of them are pretty similar, This technically, you could say this is the HD collection. No, yeah, but, like, Ratchet and Clank games are just fun, Like, they are very entertaining. I just think the third one just feels the best to play. Like, the camera feels really good to control. The controls feel really nice. There's a lot of things you can do in it. The weapons are really, really cool. And, the story is fine, too. It's not something crazy, but it's entertaining, What the fuck was the subtitle for this one? Because I think it's different in Europe. Like Europe is just called It's called full front up your arsenal, of course. Yeah, the graphics still look fine. Will I ever spell things correctly? I'm a writer. Did you know that? Yeah, generally just a really, really fun game. The soundtrack is, I can't remember the soundtrack, but I know it sounds good when you play the game. So that's important. Great old school game. Really like it. Are you there? This is like...
Yes.
Alright, yeah. Guess you don't have much of an opinion of it. You only saw me play it after all.
Yeah, it is. I remember some funny memories from the past, and I did have a good time seeing the playing. But in terms of gameplay, I've not the most to say about it.
Yeah, it's not, you're not really the target audience after all.
No.
What is your 21st pick?
Let's see. Pokemon Platinum. Oh no, not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Let's go with Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Ah,
Both of them.
I can just copy and paste from here. I don't even need to do anything here.
Yeah. The main gist of it with the Digimon Cyber Sleuth is if before I put Pokemon Platinum or anything, is that the two stories complete each other. Again, it's a really good story to follow. If it comes down to it, with story, I would certainly say that the original Cyber Sleuth I would go for before Hacker's Memory, but Hacker's Memory did indeed add just a lot more to it. Like my favorite Digimon, Dodogoramon, as an example.
Funny thing, I think if you play the PC version, the complete edition, you get all the new Digimon in Cyber Sleuth original as well.
Yeah, so I got to play with Dodogoramon in the original.
It was fucking fantastic. And with the modding community at some point just exploded for it as well. Like they add so many new Digimons to it for some reason.
Because finally we have a Digimon game that we can actually add more to it.
Man,
before Bandai Namco makes like one shitty game,
Yeah, fuck. They make another mobile game.
They'll make another mobile game.
I fucking hate Bandai Namco so much. You have no idea. There's a lot of good choices. There's a lot of options for me. There are a lot of good games. There's also a diverse amount of good games. That makes it very difficult to choose. And sometimes I think about it, but there are sometimes games where I don't, because they feel heavy, so they're not as easily to replay for me. But I still have really good memories with them, and I think about them a lot. And one of those games I think is Final Fantasy 6 and 9, which I'm gonna put together because I think they're equally as good. I just think 6 has a more complete world. 9, however, I just think is more fun overall. More straightforward and fun, I guess. Whereas 6 is more non-linear, I guess, to an extent, especially the second half. But they're both just excellent Final Fantasy games. I just love the story. I love the stories of both games, actually. Both have really good stories. Other Final Fantasy games that are good too, but these ones I just always thought that I found them amazing. Like, absolutely spectacular. Spectacular.
They are some of the best, and if it ever comes down to it, I recommend even playing Final Fantasy VI Brave New World for even the added challenge to the game.
To put them next to each other is going to be a bit difficult, but I'll try my best.
Sadly enough, the Brave New World does not include the dragons. Then, if you cared about that.
Brave New World?
Yeah, the mod Brave New World for Final Fantasy VI.
I'm just gonna put it like this because I don't have a lot of space anymore.
Yes.
I kinda switch the space around for a bit because I needed to do this. Okay, yeah. I really need to link them together because I can't choose between the two. They're both my children. Yeah.
I could have sworn 6 is older than you though.
As a Final Fantasy fan, it's difficult to, I would love to put them higher, but it's difficult for me to replay the games because they feel heavy to me. They feel like heavy to me to play, like a big adventure. And it's really difficult for me to just get into it, right? But when I'm locked in, I'm having a really good time. So Ennis, your 22nd pick.
Thank you though.
Yes, that's my favorite game, so I don't have to say much. I already said everything I needed to say. Besides that, the story is indeed also it's minimalistic, but it's good.
Minimalistic, but I think the best quality that Sekiro adds compared to literally every other Dark Souls game is, remember what they said. It's the connecting with the story part, right? No other game has you as involved in the story as playing the wolf, right?
Yeah.
even the thing with the game as to why it's kind of on the lower end of things is because I don't. Maybe it's because I have the PS4 copy, but I don't feel as compelled to replay the game. There are three Fs in FF9.
Yeah, that's indeed dumb. It's very fancy. F9 is confirmed, guys. Let's go.
And
it's
damn.
do you have a soundtrack for me?
No, not. Wait. No, Novigrad. Give me. Look up Witcher 3 Novigrad. Novigrad.
Alright. Witcher 3, love. What is it, love? Or
Novi.
Novigrad
music.
Novigrad music.
Yeah, just it's gonna be an hour long, but you can choose when you're fucking done with it, right?
Alright, sure, fair, alright. Yeah. So
but in terms of the gameplay, it's very clean and solid. But like I said, for me, though the options are a lot more open thanks to the prosthetic tools, it just doesn't compel me as much. By the way, you know what's another great thing about The Witcher 3?
Yeah.
Is that you have a whole card game in there that you can play in between exploring the world and doing fighting monsters.
Alright, so...
Would you like to play a game of Gwent?
What the fuck? Alright. I'm thinking I'm gonna pick... fuck, I just had it, what the fuck? Yeah, no, I have it. It's a new one I just recently played, so it's a bit of recency bias. And, again, it's not super special or anything. But I just really like it. And it's a Hat in Time. It's actually been... I want to say only like 10 out of 10 this year that I've played for myself. Like doing I'm doing my own Excel spreadsheet video by the end of the year. The only other like one that's close to 10 out of 10 was Crosscode that I played this year. But this game, you know, again, as someone who loves platforming, this game feels like a love letter to like the era of platforming. And yeah, it's just really, really fun. You know, there's not much of a story to it, but it's really... There's just such a good sense of humor to it. The modding for it is also perfect because the game has an in-game modding like downloader as well, so you can just download mods in the game itself and just be fine. You know, the game looks good. You know, like of course the animation for the cutscenes could be better but I do think that DLC has better animations when it comes to cutscenes. Though the only problem I have with the DLC is that they sometimes feel kind of incomplete, especially there's no boss fight in the DLC, so. I kind of wish they did that, but when it comes to just the main game, I rate that a 10 out of 10. It's a bit short, but it's very fun. It's a fun, exciting adventure. With a really fucking good soundtrack as well. Especially like one of the boss themes is just absolutely excellent. Had fun. That's perfect name. Yes. I think it's just called Head in Time. It's not even A. Yeah.
Was it also not a collectathon, if I'm mistaken?
It's a collectathon, yes. And again, it does that part perfectly as well. It's kind of similar to Sunshine, actually. It's kind of meant to be like a reference to Sunshine, but damn, it's fucking fun. It just does it so well. The different head abilities are pretty cool too. All the different badges as well. And with them, again, the mods just add so much to it as well, which they help make it easy to download them. It even has people even mod like extra stages in the game too, so you know you'll never run out of content. Kind of like Generations that expected as well. So, you're number 23, Platinum.
No, not yet. I just thought about something else at that moment.
How about Doom?
No, which Spring R?
Hey, see, I have that game in mind too. I'm just thinking about when to put it in. Whispering R really is like one of those surprise, it's actually a good game.
I already had my interest on it, funny enough, because of how adorable the main character was when I saw it in the first time. But after playing it, it's like it has again a nice story added to it, which great, you know, it feels really great until I feel the final boss being, mainly the conclusion of the final boss being kind of weird. maybe disappointing.
The ending was a bit odd. Like, I've got some opinions on it. I think I've said them before on stream somewhere.
Yeah, but I feel like the gameplay loop is just so satisfying and can be so addicting as well.
Yes.
Every thing you fight is just exciting. New monsters you find either to catch or get their weapon. It's a rewarding time. It's a great game, and you know, it's more of a stat check at time than anything. But sometimes strategy does matter a lot in winning or losing.
I think the stats, it's also really done well because you can just go everywhere and just kind of like, you know, you think at some point you got so many different abilities. You think, yeah, I can like do all these combos and shit and nothing can stop me now. Only to run into that one enemy that just says, no, fuck you, you ain't shit.
I know, right?
I just think that it's such a fun, interesting gameplay loop. Like, you can tell it's a mobile game, like a port of a mobile game, sure. But it's still really well done. It's just a really good game. And again, the story is interesting, even if the conclusion is a bit on the mess side. I do have some issues with the audio, though. Like, mainly, like, things cut out sometimes, which is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I cannot recommend this game enough. The console version of it released too. Like, so get it on console if you don't get it on PC. Actually, for my next game, yeah, it's a really tough.
It's pretty hard.
It's
No, I'm
close.
joking.
It's pretty close. It's probably around here somewhere, but oh man, it's a difficult one. Hold on a minute. I had something. Actually, still a bit lower, I think. Mafia 1 is in my mind as well. There's also Death End Request 1, which I also quite enjoy, also an RPG. I need to give me just 2 seconds. Give me some time to cook, you know. Recommend 11 is also a good one. Fuck. Yeah. What should I do? Let me think about this one. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think about it. And I think I might go for the answer that I just named. Because there's a lot of good games. Like, there's just too many good games, you know? Like, I can go on forever. That's what makes this list so hard. But it also makes it fun. It's a thought exercise. It's a thought exercise. A thought exercise? Goddamn, the thought is exercising. Okay, so... yeah, when I think about it, yeah, no, I'm gonna put in another RPG. It's supposed to be my favorite genre, besides platformers, as you can tell. It's gonna be Death End Request, yeah. I'm just gonna put it in there, yeah. The gameplay is very okay, you know. That is true. It is... gameplay-wise, it's very okay. But I find the story so interesting. Maybe it's because, you know, it's just... I love stories that have a mystery in them, and the mystery in this game is just so... it's good. Unlike the second game, where I think that the story doesn't make any sense when you get to the end, I think the story never really contradicts itself completely. And, you know, when you get like both the normal ending and, you know, hopefully the good ending, because that's another criticism we would have. You know, the story it's just very interesting. Combined with some of the good soundtrack as well for the story, and the dungeon themes are also very relaxing. The final boss theme is absolutely peak. Yeah, you know, the graphics are okay, nothing special. But it is just a very, you know, interesting story. It was enough for me to just think, I want to put it at 24 because I do like the story just that much. And overall, the game isn't bad. It's just, you know, it's fine. So it deserves my 24th spot. It's actually probably it's one of the only horror games on the list if you don't count Dark Souls, I guess.
Yeah, we don't play horror games, I noticed.
Yeah, no, it's not really a thing we do.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah. That's one you've talked about a lot as well.
It was one of those games that prides itself for its historical accuracy.
Right.
And I wouldn't know about it exactly, but I think it had such an immersive and great world for it. The combat being kind of like really special. It was being a role playing game. It also had added like a need for charisma and all that sort of stats along with it. But the game felt really just great in so many ways. The story of the main character, that dealing with the grievance of his parents' death, the response, trying to become somebody responsible and all that kind of stuff. Sucks that Warhorse Studios have fucking fallen to the woke, as if I remember their tweets right.
Yeah, I think it was also somewhat
So,
uncertain. Yeah, I think that's what they said at least. So that's unfortunate.
yeah, they did say something sus. So I'm keeping my eyes open for the second game. It's going to be probably shit.
It was pretty
so
sussy bucko of them, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess the next one is gonna be pretty easy. So yeah, it was Finger. Yeah, I mean, I know that said, it's just true, it's one of those things where generally when you look at it, it doesn't look anything special, but when you play it, you get addicted to it, and it helps that it's also just a good story. Like, it isn't just like, it's a gameplay loop that's addicting. It also has a lot more to it than that. Now, the graphics are simple, but they look nice, they're charming. They help with the overall feel of the game. Main character, fucking adorable, she's my daughter now.
Yes.
The voice actors did a perfect job.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Again, though, like, indeed, the ending is just... the ending I find also pretty unclear. Like, I find it unclear whether or not the deities got brought back to life alongside the humans, because that would be, like, the biggest, grievance, right? Like, why would the humans and deities get along when the deities don't get revived? That's the worst part. They didn't do anything wrong. You can say the humans got controlled, but let's be fair here. They barely got mind controlled, right? They're just humans that literally thought, like, oh yeah, burning children. I love the scream of burning children in the morning. I'm sorry, but there's mind control, and then there's just like, listen, you cannot convince me those people are good people. Like, there's no amount of propaganda that can make me think, yeah, I love the sound of, like, children getting burnt alive in the morning. It's not even, like, over-exaggeration. That's practically what they said. When you read the dialogue.
I know.
That's literally what they said. What can I say?
Burnt children meat is a delicacy in certain parts of the world.
Yeah, I suppose so. Don't worry, they were not boiled alive. They're only hacked to death. Totally different. So what's your 25th spot?
Yeah, finally you can add Pokemon Platinum to it.
Man, I was waiting for it.
It is my very first turn-based Pokemon game, with Mystery Dungeons Blue Rescue Team being actually my first Pokemon game. But what made Pokemon Platinum for me is that I guess with Baby's first Pokemon game, it was just such a solid game.
That's always
Slowness aside and having tons of HMs to deal with, I just loved it. Loved it for everything. Cynthia kicking my ass. Everything kicked my ass when I played it the first time at my level 100, now level 70 Empoleon. Didn't matter that, what level, how over leveled I was, Empoleon would get his ass kicked. But it was also the game that finally made me like slowly learn more and more of how to diversify my levels, my Pokemons, my tools. Using a Bidoof and a Machamp as my HM slaves.
Oh man. So was that it? It's my turn now?
Yeah, you can go on.
Oh man. So when I think about it, I think the next one might actually be an interesting one, because you have you have literally seen zero of the game, I think. If it's the game I'm thinking of, because still I'm looking a little bit to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I think I might pick the game I'm thinking of right now, and well, I mean, it's going to probably be, yeah, I think it's going to be it. Yeah, I think so. I think I looked at a lot of things. And it's gonna be Mafia 1 Remastered. It's actually a remake, but whatever. Don't tell the developers, they don't know what they're talking about, ironically. Mafia Remastered. I can't say much for the original, but I've seen a lot of the second game when I was younger. Like, one of my first YouTube Let's Plays I watched was Mafia 2. And I was very interested in that game. I played that game. I still played the game after the remastered of the first one because I got them at like a sale, right? And I love Muff. I think Ennis, you should really play this game. I think you would like it too. It's just historically accurate to like the 1930s, and I just love how the game also really looks like. That's one of the best parts of the remakes, that they actually really, but like the original version is just an American city. Like it doesn't really look very impressive because of the PlayStation 2 time, but even for PlayStation 2 times it didn't look that impressive, right? And it was more of an action game, but this is like a third-person like cover shoot. It's like the definition of a hide-and-shoot game, but it does it so well, and with a bunch of like older weapons that are like harder to use, but for the accuracy. But it is a lot of fun. It's very satisfying to kind of learn how to play it, kind of thing. It's not like GTA. There's not like a lot of like free world roaming, and it's not really the point of the game. The point of the game really is the story that is also just excellently told. A lot of dramatic plot twists, a lot of like, at some point, because you're in crime, you're gonna think you can get away with something stupid. You end up not getting away with something stupid, and your friends are paying for it, and now you have to like, solve the end problem. Just like in Mafia 2. Mafia 2 is dumber though. I love Mafia 1 because it doesn't feel. Mafia 1 still feels smart in the end, and I feel like every character perfectly plays their role. It also looks amazing. Like, it's an absolutely stunning game. I love the radio giving you the oldest songs back in the 30s. It's just, I love games like this because, there's a lot of games about history, but I really love games that are like more like modern history, like the 1930s, because to me, a zoomer, those are basically ancient times, but they're still modern enough that you can kind of imagine how it felt like. So I just recommend Mafia. Just play the game. Highly recommend. So, and it's 26th.
Monster Hunter World.
Ah. Oh, shit. Fuck. No, go back.
Monster Hunter World not being per se my very first Monster Hunter game, because I did play it on the PSP Freedom Unite one for maybe a good 10 hours, maybe less.
Yes.
But I think that Monster Hunter World, though it is a radical change from the formula, because it changed a lot in terms of its controls, its speed, its everything when you compare to the others. But it feels so smooth, so quick to play, and cut some amount of the grinding nonsense that they have. Do you know about the fact that you have split class between using the guns, the bow and arrow and the guns, or using every other melee weapon in the game?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you have to choose. If you choose melee weapons, you have to use the melee armor. If you use the 3 long range weapons, wow, 3, yeah, no. You have to. Then you can use the long range armor, which is honestly terrible.
Terrible, don't do it. If you do it.
Yeah.
I just found it funny how I just have fun kid platformer. Everyone fucking dies and doesn't die. Horror game. Cute witch game. Crime drama.
Jess, you don't know what you want.
Why do gamers not know what they want? Actually,
Miyamoto screaming at the sky.
Actually, like, I'm gonna have a difficult one for the next one, because there's plenty of games I can think of right now to pick the spot. It's very difficult to choose right now. Give me a second, because, I got the Crash Bandicoot, but I'm still thinking maybe Dragon Quest 11 instead. Oh, but Xenoblade Chronicles, yeah. You see, the only reason I would pick Dragon Quest 11 over Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is because it's less long. That's really it. But, like, it feels easier to do all the side quests in 11. In the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, doing all the side quests requires me to have a very in-depth guide. And New Game Plus, I guess. Yeah, I might actually pick Dragon Quest 11. I'm gonna be honest here. It might be possible I do that. I'm also picking Dragon Quest 11 because I haven't played the other games yet besides the first one, and that's not gonna be on the list, I'm gonna tell you right now. Not that I hate the first one.
What
It's
do you mean? Did you play Dragon Quest 5 too?
I didn't play it. I watched the movie.
Wasn't
I watched the shitty movie. I watched the fucking stupid movie.
wasn't that no? But there was the one with the very good sprite animations. But I thought you played it.
No, I never played it. I saw Johnny's review of it, and I really liked what I saw. I want to play it, but I want to play the other games too.
Right.
Yeah, I think Dragon Quest 11 is gonna take the spot. Yep, I think I got it. I'm just gonna pick Dragon Quest 11. That's it. That's the game. I just think it's a very good. It's like the best traditional RPG you can find, I guess. Like it's one of the mill, but like it's basically John RPG, John JRPG.
A damn good one at that, honestly.
The story is very old school, but it just works. The characters are likable. The game looks fantastic, and you can even choose to play it in 2D if you want to.
It beats what was it called? Sunshine's Water.
It does. It's one of those games where it's like the anti-modern Square Enix game, where everything is traditional. Like the female characters look cute and lovely. There's some fan service here and there. The game feels complete, and that's the biggest anti-Square Enix thing. The game just feels complete. It feels like I'm playing a complete product. It doesn't feel like they cut any corners, besides maybe with extra added stuff to Dragon Quest 11S. But it's still a fun game. It's still a great adventure. The soundtrack, okay, see the soundtrack is the soundtrack is the only mute point, I think. Everything else is great. The soundtrack, there's some good things here and there, but it's too repetitive for me. But everything else, like the characters are nice. They have their own aspects. You can build them a little bit differently as well if you want to play different playstyles. There's just many. Again, it's just the perfect old school games, but I have higher, actual old school games that are higher. It's like it's just a perfect traditional game in modern times. I highly recommend if you love RPGs. Yeah.
Yes, same here.
Yeah. I guess 27 is NSO's Dragon Quest 11 too. No, I'm joking. What's your 27?
Final Fantasy 5.
That's a good pick. It's an interesting one because there's a lot of Final Fantasies to pick, and a lot of people would pick 7, of course, but a lot of people pick 9. Some are like me and pick 6, and 5 is also one of my favorites.
The age-old debate that I always noticed on the internet was between 7 and 6. Yes. I noticed. Definitely. 9 is the forgotten one specifically because it was like late PS5, PS1, and nobody pays it. Nobody bought it.
9 is the fan favorite of the hardcore ones. I noticed. Like it's usually the ones that play all the games that will pick 9, and then like those that will just pick that love Final Fantasy but haven't played all of the games. They usually pick 6 or 7. I noticed.
And that's 6 is just 6 only is known because it was the last SNES game.
It never came out. It never came out in the West either for a long time. That's really why. It was also one of the most popular games in Japan, I believe.
Yeah. So for why I choose 5 over maybe 6 or 9, for me it's the speed of the pacing of the game and the class system being such an amazing part of the game. But in the end, if the goal is to master a lot of them, so you can inherit their stats and skills to the master jobs. But just the whole adventure being goofy, lighthearted to an extent, and just overall fun adventure that I like. So yeah, that's why I went with 5.
Yeah, I said it before, but below 6 and 9 would be 5 for me too. So. Yeah, I love 5. I really love 5 for the same reasons. The exact same reasons, really. Though, maybe a hot take. I honestly don't like how it graphically looks.
Understandable.
I don't think it aged very well, and I don't think any remaster or port has really fixed how it looks for me.
No, absolutely, I understand. For me, it's ultimately gameplay that mattered.
Gameplay, the sound.
Because otherwise, when it comes to looks, 6 is just superior.
Yeah. Hot take, I even think 4 looks better.
No, 4 as well, no.
Even the simpler Super Nintendo graphics I prefer. And I say prefer, because technically 5 is higher quality, I guess, but I just think, I don't know, the art style just works better for me. Oh, 28 is gonna be difficult. For that one though, I really have to think about it. I think I might just pick... Oh, it's so difficult. Yeah, no, I'm going to pick... Oh, so I've got 2 games in mind, fuck. I hate that. Why do I... I'm gonna pick Dragon Ball Z Infinite World / Budokai 3. But I prefer Infinite World. Again, I don't play a lot of fighting games, but like for fighting games, it just entertain me. Budokai 3 has put me back into liking fighting games again and like being interested in them again. Because, you know, it's completely unique to it. Right? Like, all the Dragon Ball Z mechanic is complete. Like, there's no other fighting game that will do those same mechanics. And it just feels fun to play. Now, Infinite World, you know, I think it's more fun to play, but I also can't help but think it's just a, you know, recut Budokai 3. But I do like these games. They're both, I do think they're both very good, and they have very good single player content, especially 3. With it setting. I just find them very fun to play. Do they each have their flaws? Sure, but again, they're what made me a Dragon Ball Z fan. I have very important emotions to these games, like specifically Budokai 3. Yes, I got into Dragon Ball Z because of Budokai 3. That led me to go to YouTube to watch the anime. That led me to essentially becoming an anime fan. You know, Budokai 3 is the rabbit hole for me.
The Dragon Ball Z pipeline.
The Dragon Ball Z to hentai addict pipeline is real. At least I can read. Linus.
Thank God.
Thank God. Linus, 28.
Armored Core 4 and 4 Answer. It's just together, basically.
Yeah.
Just take 4 answers to cover in this case.
Okay.
Specifically. And so when it comes to Armored Core 4 and 4 Answer, it is both of them are again connected in story. And a separate time, another separate timeline from the other generations. But it has the beginning with 4. It had it faster pace combat with dashing around and all that. And it's basically where Armored Core 6 takes some of its ideas from. With the story being somehow a lot having its compelling moments and one of the most important characters, which somehow appears in Final Fantasy. No, not Final Fantasy. It somehow appears in Armored Core 5 Verdict Day, but that's a different story.
I don't know which soundtrack.
With 4 ending with like a dramatic ending, the sad ending, and 4 Answer ending with you being a criminal.
Dang, you went to Japanese politician route.
If you ever play it, you'll know why. But it feels so satisfying when you defeat 4 ACs.
You mean like I defeated 5, motherfucker, get on my level.
Not in that game.
Oh, I see, it's different.
You can do 5s, you can do even 5, but make it even harder. Because, oh lord.
You know, yeah. I think my next game would probably be... Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna pick Sonic Mania / Sonic 3. And I would kind of prefer Mania to an extent. Yeah, I think I prefer Mania a bit more. Especially because I think Sonic 3, the and Knuckles part of it is not as good. But I love both. I think both games are really fantastic. And Sonic 3 and Knuckles is more of an original game, you know? But, yeah, just... what can I say about Sonic Mania? It's just it brings Sonic back, you know. It completely brought the classic Sonic games back, you know. Perfect retro style graphics. I do kind of, if I were to prefer an art style, though, I actually really like the Sonic Advanced art style more. But I just think these get like the feel, they got the feel perfectly right to Sonic Mania. And I think Sonic 3 and Knuckles just has a lot of good content to it, which Sonic Mania has as well.
Why is it on my side though?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, huh? Now you like this game too, Ennis. I forced you. This is your fate.
I have to.
This is your fate now.
You can just sleep the cell.
I could do that, but I. Man, Ennis, the office workers criticizing me again. Can't believe this. I love this. I love this team specifically because it's just a perfect team when you're trying to figure out the puzzle. Hold on, I need to put it a bit lower. Alright, so yeah, Sonic 3, yeah. And Knuckles, right? That's okay. But yeah, like, you know, there's not much of a story. It's a Sonic game, but you know, it's all fine. You have an ending, you know, the ending, it ends with Super Sonic fighting the final boss. Sonic 3 has Hyper Sonic. No other game has that. The soundtrack is great. And you know, of course, it's very unique with its speed-based platforming, or rather, the speed physics, momentum-based platforming is the better word to use.
What about the fact that Sonic Mania is connected to Sonic Forces?
Yeah, no, we're ignoring that actually. Listen, I've started ranking games again, right? Because I now know more about games to properly rank them. So you know, I now know how it feels like to play a 4 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, for example. But I can only think of one 5 out of 10, and that's Sonic Forces. It's so average. I don't feel anything. When you finish the game, you just don't feel anything. Like, you don't hate it.
Would you just think that's even worse if you don't feel anything?
I don't know. That's the funny part about 5 out of 10. I can barely think of a good 5 out of 10. Just because 5 out of 10 isn't even good. It's not even bad. It exists, you know? There's nothing. There's no feeling. It's just a 5 out of 10. Most games would either get a 6 out of 10 because they're at least somewhat fun, or they get a 4 out of 10 because there's at least something is wrong with them quality-wise. But with Sonic Forces, it's just... You know? It's just there. It just exists.
Is it better than nothing?
It's better than nothing. You know, if I had nothing else to do, I might still play it. But I also, if it's gone forever, I would be like, wait, that the game existed? That was a video game? Damn. Never heard of it. So what's your 29th pick?
I see. Kingdom Hearts 1.
1? That's fucking interesting.
It's mainly because specifically because I cannot beat two. And that comes mainly from the fact that for some reason I'm this weird guy that doesn't really like the Disney. Not that I don't like the Disney World. It's just that I am so uninterested in the Disney worlds at this point. Whereas with Kingdom Hearts 1, it kept it somewhat interesting as disconnected to the Disney world, right? Mm-hmm. The story feels like it matters. But with 2, it just doesn't. It's just such a loose part of the story that, and in the end, it just ended up like with me just quitting halfway through because I just couldn't be bothered to redo all the worlds.
The funny part is right in the video, the story is actually linked to the game.
Yeah, and at that point I was already like, I'm done. I'm not interested anymore. It's just a weird thing with me and my gripe with 2, because otherwise 2 has obviously far better controls and far better feel to it in every sense. It's like it's the perfected version of it. It's just my gripe is more with the adventure than with the gameplay.
I see.
So that's supposed to be the part of it.
So I had some choices because, you know, I love Crash Bandicoot, but I also like Doom a lot. But then you know, there's a lot of options I have here. Sometimes I keep forgetting what I want to put in. That sounds gross when I put it like that. Yeah. But if I were to think about it... Oh man. You know what though? Actually, I think I might have an idea. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Doom and Doom Eternal. Like, I'm gonna link them because I think Doom Eternal, I think Doom is just perfect arcade shooter, right? You can just pick up and play it. You don't even have to find anything. Like, you don't have to go out of your way to explore to make it easier, because the game just perfectly knows how to, like, just make you, like, again, you don't have to think a lot. Just shoot, kill. No violence, that's all you need. Violence is all you need. But Eternal is great because it does something different. Like, you have to think more strategically. You have to, like, pay attention to a lot of different weapon stuff and shit, which makes you have to micromanage a lot. And that makes it a bit more niche, I think. I know some people preferred Doom over Doom Eternal for different reasons. But I love both games. I think both games are really good because they both, again, if on a game that's just easy to pick up and just kind of play and fuck around, I'd pick Doom. But if I were to say I'd like it, I kind of like Doom Eternal more because there's just that much more to it. You know, the pages give you a lot more lore that's interesting. There's a bit more of a story to it. The DLC really finishes the story as well, and it's very satisfying. You know, all the game still looks, especially like Eternal, looks still pretty good. All of the fucking ultra kills, what was it called again? The fucking glory kills. They're fucking like satisfying. The sound effects feel satisfying. The soundtrack is good. It's just a perfect solo campaign shooter. I'm pretty certain NS likes it too because you know, like even though it's quiet, like I'm pretty sure I don't know if he wants to add anything to it. Missing.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. You summed it up perfectly.
And now for NS number 30.
Castlevania, Area of Sorrow.
Ah.
And no, it's not the one with Julius.
I think I know. Area of Sorrow.
Is
a GBA game? I thought it was a DS.
It is a GBA game. It has the Nintendo DS follow-up, so the sequel.
Ah, see, but you like this
one. But it all starts with. But I played this one specifically. I didn't play it. I dabbled 5 minutes into it, but I think I was busy with other things to think too much about it. What makes Area of Sorrow is it's a great GBA version of the game. It's such a cool thing where you can literally use monster abilities. You know, obviously they're rare drops, but you can use them instead as like getting a double jump or doing some cool stuff with it as an end. And it also has this interesting story where, first of all, we have the most badass Belmoth. Not Julius? What was the fucking Belmoth's name again? This most badass Belmoth who literally actually managed to defeat Dracula, and we don't know what happened. And then this game happens. Like 50 years later, this game happens, and we still don't know how the fuck the Belmoth did it.
So, Anis, where's dissonance, like Harmony of Dissonance, on this list for you?
Get the fuck out of here.
I think that game is another 5 out of 10, actually.
It is another 5 out of 10.
That one is the 5 out of 10.
It's such a fucking... It's literally has everything that Castlevania has, but it's boring as hell.
It really is. Why did you play that one? Why did you?
Because it was faster and funny, and it happened to be funnier.
It was, yeah, it ended up being funny, but only because we were fucking bored. Actually, my next one is One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. Actually, you know what can I say? I'm a big One Piece fan, and when I think of my favorite One Piece game, it's honestly this one, the third one. Pirate Warriors 4 is not a bad follow-up, but I feel 3, even with all the DLC, 3 just feels like a more complete game. 4 is fine, but you know it already cut some characters from 3 as well that they didn't bring back with the DLC, which I I fucking hate Bandai Namco because all the DLC packs are fucking expensive, and I'm thinking, why not just give me one larger expansion pack that's like 20 euros, give me all the characters back from the previous game, and give me all the new characters instead. No, not Bandai Namco, they would never. And like, what's the point of adding new characters if you're not gonna add like new stages or story modes, you fuckers? Fuck, I hate Bandai Namco so much. But Pirate Warriors 3 just feels complete. Like, almost every arc is in it. They almost tell the complete story. Well, that's kind of impossible with how large the story is and how much depth there is to it. But it's still really good. Soundtrack is fantastic. The game, I still like how the game looks. I think it showcases the good lighting engines of the PlayStation 4. Of course, it's One Piece, so, you know, I remember the story. And I cried because I think, oh, Chopper's backstory was so sad. I love Pirate Warriors 3, it's a good game. It's also very fun with friends. A lot of characters to play as. And, yeah, it's just, even if you don't like One Piece, it's an amazing Dynasty Warrior-like. So, yeah. I'm gonna put it on the list. If only there was a Tenken game. I'm gonna make it at some point, to be honest. I'm gonna make a Tenken game. I'm just gonna do it. Anyway, you're number 31.
It's actually difficult between Final Fantasy 6 and 9, man.
That's why I put them together, because they're just too... They're both amazing.
Yeah, they really are. I think I'll put 9 first.
Alright. So
I never did get to beat 9, and I remember finally what the actual reason was. My laptop died while I was emulating it.
Oh no, okay, I get that totally. Fuck, I hate that shit.
I was almost at the end, and then at some point I noticed that my laptop had problems. So I was like, let me clean up the fan, but that was with me being shitty at it, like not being experienced at any of this, and I fucking broke my laptop.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think what 9 I feel probably is cheating because it had the 3D graphics added to it as well, right?
Yeah.
But it felt like such a as if I was the first opening cutscene left me the biggest impression as a PS1 game. It's like I'm like looking at a Disney movie, but it's Final Fantasy, and it's so fucking amazing. You know, the story being still compelling at that time, and the characters being interesting, adding some good gameplay to it. It felt like you're playing Final Fantasy like 4 in that sense. Obvious, with a more without the party members dying every fucking minute
And coming back.
It's like that game can never kill somebody.
Like Heihachi.
You know, at 32 place, put Heihachi in there.
So where's Final Fantasy 14 in your list?
I'm not willing to put MMOs in there.
Yeah, I find it difficult too because it's so complex. The feelings towards
it's why I don't feel like putting HS Honkai Star Rail in there either, because I feel like that's more of a, I don't know, it doesn't fit in these lists.
I think it fits.
Even though I played them a lot.
Yeah, I think you can honestly just like say how you feel about it. It's fine. You can put it in. I think you can put it in. That's what she said.
Alright, I'll put it later.
Like I have Genshin Impact somewhere. I don't know if Genshin Impact is gonna make the list, but it's a chance. It can be there. It could be there. Not the next pick. No, the next pick is gonna be difficult. Like I have Crash Bandicoot on the mind, and it might be one, but I could always think, wow, wait a minute, but that game is pretty fucking saucy though. What the fuck does that fucking mean? That's a good question. That's a very good question. What the fuck does that mean?
Indeed.
Yeah, so I'm thinking indeed it's gonna be Crash Bandicoot. So I'm gonna just put in the Insane Trilogy because that's easy. But if I were to pick one, it would be Warped.
Specifically, yes.
Because Warped is my... It's actually... technically Toy Story 2 is my first ever platformer, but Warped I actually played a lot, especially with my dad. So I've had a lot of memories for it, but it's probably one of my most childhood games alongside Rayman. I played the fuck out of it, and it's just one of those things where it's fun because you have someone else to play with it as well. That someone else is playing it, and then your dad, you know. There's gotta be fun. There's gotta be memories for that. So I'm just gonna type in Fresh Bandicoot.
Crashy dude.
Fresh Crashy dude. What? Yeah, this is...
Now I can put Final Fantasy 6 the next one.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Before you get to explain, like, again, Crash Bandicoot, whether it's the PlayStation 1 or the remakes, they're both good versions. The remakes, of course, the remake of the first game is way better. That is true. But other than that, like, I think you can play any version of Crash Bandicoot and you'll have a good time. Visually, soundtrack-wise, all of it is just good. And I think the Ancient Trilogy does add some good stuff here and there as well. But it's just a good version of a game that you should buy, because you get all 3 games.
Yeah, I'll keep playing. Let this one also play. I think this one's also pretty good.
Yeah, I do. I love the dungeon themes, man. Wait, what am I doing? I can just fucking grab it. Just grab the game here. It's right here. Just grab it. But yeah, your feelings on 6?
I do find the story of 6 also being really solid. Gameplay wise, I do. It's really good, right? For most of it, but at some point I do notice actually magic isn't the end all be all per se, but really, yeah, it for one side it is, which makes it on the weaker end. But otherwise, I find the game to be solid, the story to be good and compelling. The world of the switch to the world of Ruin was fucking amazing.
Yes,
it really was. And it's with that sense, but I didn't feel, besides the world of Ruined, I feel like 9 had this different type of magic to it.
Yes.
That I feel 6 couldn't really replicate. But really, you could alternate between the two.
Which via link to. Oh well. The next game would be a lot more difficult, because from here I have like a lot of games, but I don't know which one I specifically would like a lot more than the other. But then I think about it, and it's like, well, if I were to replay it, I would probably love it again. Because when I first played the game, I fell in love with it. I really did, and I did finish it in due time as well, even if it did warm me out a bit by the end. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is just a fantastic game.
I was thinking you were talking about Final Fantasy 2.
Do you want to die? Like, is that a request, or like Bait used to be believable? Yeah, Xenoblade 2. Yeah, there you go. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Again, it's a perfect mix of like good anime fan service and just a fun game with a good story and just a good feel of adventure. Like the world feels alive with all the different enemies that are there. Some that will just fucking commit mass murder on you, because you'll be killed multiple times by the level 90 boss that just look at you funny and thought, you know what? Fuck you! But man, it's just like getting stronger and then finding more things to explore in older areas, It's not really an open world, but the field is pretty open. There's plenty to explore. The soundtrack is great. The feel of the story and the cutscenes are really good. The characters are a lot more likable than Xenoblade Chronicles 1. To be fair, if you do heart-to-hearts, maybe you'll like the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 more. That's fair. I just didn't feel like doing them. With the second game, I don't even have to do all of the heart-to-hearts just to get to know these characters, and that's the major difference. That's really what makes it easy to get into Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I think gameplay-wise, I don't feel like I have to play as the main character just to get a successful strategy going. Fuck you, Xenoblade Chronicles 1. God dang it. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is still a perfectly fine game. But if I were to choose, I much preferred the second game. Also, the second game has a better fanbase. Fight me IRL.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah.
Speaking of the World of Ruin, Dragon Quest 11.
Wait, did I pick it right?
27.
Did I? 27? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Dragon Quest 11. Great game. And
I don't have much add in there. It's like it when it comes down to it, it's an amazing game. It's fucking long. Pacing can be a bit tiring. but it did capture the second arc did capture the World of Ruin feeling as well. Really solid. Before having a good ending and then going back in time. What the fuck?
You know what it is? You can stop the game there, and you can stop the game at the third act, and both of it will feel fine to an extent.
Yes.
Did I just? It's 11, right? This is 11. Yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm stupid. Okay, but this is 11.
X1. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this triggers someone. I'm not gonna change it.
Well, I think the thing that's gonna trigger people the hardest is gonna be Final Fantasy V. Being higher than all the other ones.
Yeah, that it's surprising for sure, but when you pick gameplay over everything, then it's fair, I think. The 9's gameplay is still really good.
It is.
Oh man.
To an extent, I find that more preferable. To what 6 has to offer, really.
You know what it is like? I see so many good things in 8, but it's just big gold with so many stupid ideas and decisions and not really taking much care for storytelling. Because I would actually put 8 high up if it were good.
I think the story just needs a bit more work. Just a slightly bit more.
It's how they told it too. Like, I just really think there are better ways to tell the story. So there's also some things that just kind of happen and they're never brought up again. And you're like, what the fuck was that? I don't know. Who was that fucking founder of the fucking, seed garden? What the fuck was that? What did he do there anyway? He was just masturbating below in the basement. That's all he did. What the fuck? Like I said, I named... Oh, then there's so many good ones. Mario Shield. Oh, that's a good one too. Oh, man. Yeah, okay. I'll figure it out eventually, don't worry. Oh, you know what? It's actually, yeah, you know what? I've got it. No, this was a good one. I should put Pokemon Black and White too. Because, yeah, I love Pokemon as well. And the core gameplay is very addicting of Pokemon, especially with Pokemon now.
It's number 9. It's number 9.
Yeah. And it was high up. And this is just indeed what Anna said, peak Pokemon. The game looks very nice in the 2D, to the point where the game lags, but you know what? The 3D games lag too. Even on better hardware, so this is Game Freak being Game Freak.
The 3D ones don't not only lag, but also lack.
Yeah. This game has so much in common. I would also put Pokemon... I would honestly link this with Pokemon Black 1 as well, to be honest.
I would. It's why I put it. Why I didn't put Black 2 on my list. On my list.
This game is just it's funny because Black and White 2 when it first came out, everyone was shit talking it. Even at our school, people were like, "Oh, this is gonna be Black and White 1 again, but almost nothing different. Oh, this game sucks." And at first when I played it, I was kind of I just had a shittiest lock or something, or the shittiest team. But when I replayed it, I thought, man, this is a good game. There's so much to do in there. The content is just endless. The soundtrack is fantastic. I mean, the story is not as good as the first game. The first game does have a better story overall, but you don't play Pokemon games for the story, to be fair. Okay, next team.
I had to send something on Discord.
Alright, nice. Yeah, this is nice. This will work for me. Well, I'm still too... Alright.
Remember, it is on the DS, so at some point it's gonna loop a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I can stop it whenever I feel like, that's how the world works.
Exactly.
Anyway. Yeah, I guess that's my pick. If I don't know if it's gonna be on the list, so I'll mention it too, but Pokemon Emerald is a childhood game of mine that I love as well. But when I replayed some of the other games that were back to back, I started to really realize that as much as I have nostalgia for Emerald, I would much rather play Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Platinum before it. So just in case those games don't make the list, I want to mention it.
A game that I will finally mention, Inazuma 11.
Okay, see, that's a funny one.
There are a lot of Inazuma 11 games, but I think I'll just put them all into one. Just put down DS game or something like that. Just Yeah.
Sure.
It's one of those moments where I watched the anime and I was like, man, having anime powers in football makes it a lot more interesting, like galactic football.
Yeah.
And what ended up with this one, it adds to, you use the stylus to move some of your characters around. You still don't know what the football rules are at times when you get when your enemy gets a penalty. Like, what? Why?
What did he do? He sniffed at me funny. He sneezed his nose in front of someone. Red card.
But the greatness was just the RPG elements. I noticed FIFA has those too with the numbers, but I don't feel them as meaningful as Inazuma 11 has with the numbers, with your characters and all that. It's anime as fuck skills and everything. And with the story being, somewhat whack, but still really fun, it's worth it. Can you believe that some fucking school principal would sabotage the game so hard by letting steel beams fall on top of the players' heads just to kill them and get rid of them?
What the fuck? Why? It's just what if they're children? Okay, yeah, but those children are going to save the world from an alien invasive species. What the fuck do you?
Well, yes, aliens do invade the world in the second game.
They told me that it was fucking funny.
And they destroy the fucking school with football.
Okay, so I got an interesting one. Yeah. Now I'm in a difficult territory, so I'm gonna look around a lot more often.
Now I think about it, the game was really well adapted to anime in such a cool manner, like walking around the towns and what have you. Really cool.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think the next pick is another controversial one, quote unquote, quote unquote.
Whatever that means these days.
I don't know if it means anything. Actually,
suddenly
that's gonna be for the next one. I think I got another one first.
I see the game and I see his ugly woman. I'm like, yeah, this actually is controversial.
Ugly woman! My condolences. Okay, now I got the next one. Next one I think you'll probably like as well because you played it too. It's Mega Man X4.
Yes.
Good game. Some would pick Mega Man X1 as the best one. It's difficult because I think both of them are really good games, but I just love X4's look as well. And, I love playing as Zero in X4 as well. The story is a bit odd, could have been told better. Of course, it's gonna be difficult, and, Mega Man is not a type of game where you can really tell a good story. It's gonna be very difficult to do anyway. Animated cutscenes are, they're fine. In Japanese, the voice acting is good. In Japanese. In English, the voice acting is funny. But you know how it is. Just because it's funny, don't make it good. But, I'm also a Mega Man fan. And yeah, I gotta say, Mega Man X4, it just tickles my balls really well. But yeah.
Metroid Zero Mission. Put it together with Super Metroid, but I prefer Metroid Zero Mission to an extent.
Yeah, Zero Mission is one of those games I need to replay or replay properly because I don't know. When I played it, I just I couldn't enjoy it as much for some reason. It just didn't click with me.
I enjoy Super Metroid a bit less than Zero Mission somehow. I have more fond memories with Zero Mission. And I certainly do not, and I jive less with Fusion in this sense. But for Zero Mission being somewhat accessible on the GBA, but it was a lot of fun just to go through it and explore.
I'm also surprised.
Like with Super Mission.
I'm also surprised Bloodstained Ritual of the Night isn't here instead.
I could always put it next, but it's not I'm just thinking about more of these memories.
That's fine.
No. I am running low on time at this point, so I guess we can leave the rest for next time.
Alright, so we got the first 35.
Yes.
And the list is already getting interesting. I just love how we have some pretty basic games, and then, you just jump out with Zuma 11 games.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Shrek 3 is the movie game is gonna come in here at some point.
No!
Oh, what? It's a fucking great game.
Yeah, I believe you. Well then, next time on the Great Top 100 List Adventures, I think we should just do it soon, honestly. Like, we should just do it like on Wednesday or something, or Tuesday, whatever you feel like, really.
Yes, it all comes down to honestly how I struggle with the road.
Yeah, yeah. Just tell me if you just tell me if you want to do it tomorrow, if you want to do it Wednesday. You know, like just tell me how you feel tomorrow. I guess. Yeah, we'll see you guys soon with it. To be honest, you know, I want to continue it. It's a funny thing to do. It's just unfortunate we had so little time because you know, man,
2 hours of driving through rain. How lovely.
I love the rain. At least tomorrow it's not raining.
Yes.
Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow or the day after tomorrow for more funny list makings.
Yes.
Farewell.